Enjoy it while it lasts. Nothing too crazy, though, here in the Central Valley. We have not hit that triple-digit threshold just quite yet. We also, it's the 3 o'clock hour, which means the 3 o'clock hour is brought to you by Clovis Truck Center. Clovis Truck Center, the proud sponsors of the 3 o'clock hour here on 1430 ESPN. Of course, Clovis Truck Center, formerly known as Line-X of Clovis. They're the first, the biggest, and still the best in the Central Valley, and they are now bigger than the Bedliner. That's right, Clovis Truck Center, just south of the Clovis Rodeo Grounds here in Fresno, Clovis area. Be sure to stop by and say hi today as well. Also, we've got the Fashion Furniture folks over there. Fashion Furniture, of course, across from River Park over on El Paso. Another reminder, of course, they're in that overstock situation. So, due to that situation, they've ordered an immediate elimination, $5 million worth of famous name brand furniture direct to the public for what it will bring. How about 65 years of Central Valley experience here for Fashion Furniture? It is locally owned here in the Central Valley, serving you. It is a first-come, first chance basis here for items sold directly to the public here. Huge price cuts. We're talking in every department with savings of up to 76%. That's right. The savings will be spectacular, 76%. So bring your trucks and trailers. Prices will be so low that they must charge for delivery. Like I said, really good show on the schedule today. One more thing. Big thanks to Tony D for tossing it to us in the previous hour. Tony D, of course, is hitting his time slot from 2 to 3 p.m. on weekdays. His his Sportsline Bulldog Hour with Tony D, which you can listen to on the on the daily, 2 to 3 p.m. here on 1430 ESPN. That's right. You could go listen to him on 1430 ESPN or 1430 ESPN Fresno app, or the 1430 ESPNFresno.com website is the way you can reach him as well. You could also listen to my show on the 1430 app at Behind the Bench, Phil Benotti, from 3 to 6 p.m. And also you can listen to Paul Metter's show, the Central Valley Sports Report, live from First String Sports. Paul Metters, of course, always great with his show. This coming Saturday, his final show of the school year. He'll be back later in the August range. And so proud to call him a colleague of mine, and of course excited to hear what he has to kind of basically recap all of the high school sports, probably from out the whole year. He'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to that show coming up on the 14th. We are also live streaming here on all our social media platforms that we have. We have Facebook and Twitch open live for you to watch the show here and be able to follow along. Sometimes you get to catch some things on the show that you don't necessarily hear about, but maybe see some behind-the-scenes stuff as well. So thank you for watching, whoever's watching out there on Facebook Live and on Twitch Live. We look to get to YouTube soon, and so be sure to follow our YouTube page, ESPN Fresno. Give us a subscribe there, and we will be streaming live very soon when it comes to all of that great stuff. We've got a great show on the horizon for you. Let's go through the rundown here today of what we are going to be talking about, which is a lot of reaction and recap from the weekend, from Friday night to Saturday to Sunday, all of the stuff that's been going on in sports. And, of course, we'll also look forward to some of the things coming up this week, including some landmark events as well. So, of course, we get some big things developing in college sports over the weekend, including on Friday's decision. We'll talk about that and touch on that. I know Tony touched on it a lot, I'm sure, in the last hour, so I'll just give you my opinion on it. Of course, we have a very hot baseball team that's playing great baseball on our airwaves over the last 5 days. The Giants are playing well, and we'll look to have a very key weekend here. Talk about their all-star chances. We'll see who can be an all-star, who cannot be an all-star, who will be in the representing the black and orange in Atlanta in a month's time from now. Of course, we'll talk NBA Finals, last night's game. We'll talk about that and what it means and what we may expect for Game 3 coming up right here on 1430. That's coming up on Wednesday. Game 3 live from Indiana. We'll recap all kinds of other great stuff. The 5 at 5 coming up. I'll give you your 5 best contenders for the U.S. Open in golf when it comes to that. And we'll also do a 49ers schedule draft as well in this final hour. So we've been doing those. We've done Fresno State. We've done the LA Rams. We're going to do the Niners today. Tomorrow, we will do the Raiders. So that's what we got on the docket for you. Johnny Bravo is going to join me in the second hour as well. If you want to listen to myself and Johnny Bravo chat it up, Grizzlies baseball back for another homestand as they set to take on Modesto. Hated Modesto. Big rival, Modesto Nuts, here in town as well. So we will look to recap that. Producing in for the show today, we got a couple of familiar faces behind the glass from the last few days. We've got Tanvir and Julia sitting back there as well. Tanvir on the radio audio side, and Julia working the live stream aspect of it. Both pleased to be joined by me here, and pleased to be joined by you guys as well for the show. So as I always do on these Mondays, I normally always open with a question, and it is simply the question I always have on my mind, which is, I'll go to you both. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I'm excited for summer coming up. I think the summer schedule for sports is pretty exciting, so I'm ready to do that. My U.S. men's national team lost, which I hate that, so I had a little sour taste in my mouth off of that, but otherwise pretty good.
What about you, Julia?
I had a good weekend. The Giants did great this weekend, so I'm proud of them, and it's been good. Summer's coming up, like Tanvir said, so I'm excited.
Are you recovering from Friday night's for disappointing result in softball for you with Texas, just boat racing Texas Tech on Friday?
Yeah, I was upset that Texas Tech didn't win, but I'm also kind of proud of Texas because I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, I know you were paying attention when we were leaving on Friday, so of course, we had that result as well. Giants playing well. You mentioned Tanvir, the U.S. team soccer you're talking about? Yeah? And
yeah.
I hear Donovan and Pulisic, or at least some family members of Pulisic, are chirping on online here.
Landon Donovan has been a legend for this team for years, and I understand his impact to me because I started watching in 2010, but I can also attest to the fact that he has had some questionable takes over the last couple of years, and what Christian Pulisic's dad had brought up, you can bring that up. Obviously, Pulisic not being on the roster this year because he can't play because of his tenure at AC Milan is a little tough, but we'll see. I think everything will kind of simmer down once we get to the World Cup next year.
Absolutely. Gold Cup coming up, and I'm going to have some Jorge Cup dates coming up here. I think Friday was when the Gold Cup gets going, so we'll see if the U.S. squad is up to the task as far as the Gold Cup is concerned. I had a great weekend. Thanks for asking. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. It was a great weekend for me as well. I enjoyed, for some people, when it comes to these hot temperature weather days, especially Saturday, I'm sure you all were trying to avoid the outside as much as possible, or trying to limit whatever. I don't know how you guys handle the heat. I'm not one that likes the heat particularly, which is just a great reason why I moved back. But I enjoyed the opportunity that was afforded in front of me. My friend has his wife works for a tech company, whatever. Anyways, I ended up setting up a new sound system. They wanted me to try it out and whatnot, and it sounds like I'm going to be able to keep it, which is great. Saturday, I had the great opportunity of setting up a subwoofer and 2 rear speakers in my living room. And you ever have those moments where you just get lost in what you're doing and just forget the amount of hours you're just spending watching whatever? That happened to me Saturday. I think I watched like 4 episodes of television, and then 3 movies all over the course of Saturday, while also interspersed watching sports, watching the Giants' crazy comeback on Saturday, or what else was on Saturday? I can remember some other things going on as well, but I was just kind of in it, watching some Red Sox Yankees in the middle of it as well. And I'll tell you what, sound systems that work and sound great, worthy investment. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
Change.
I was going to say, though, I feel like Saturday is definitely that day, right? It always happens where you just start watching something and it just goes on for hours without you even noticing.
Well, it's like I had plans to do something and then you just kind of forget about it, right? Julie, have you ever gotten lost in just doing something, and then you're like, oh no, I had plans. I needed to do something that day, and I forgot because I got so lost in watching movies or whatever, anything like that.
Oh, for sure. I feel like I'm more of a Sunday movie kind of
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, Sunday's a good thing too, because there's always the argument, right, of whether what you want to do on a weekend is whether you make Saturday the veg out day or Sunday the veg out day. One of those days, everybody decides whether it's the day you want to just not do anything and not see anybody versus whatever. To me, that was Saturday, and then Sunday, I literally was told by someone to go touch grass, and so I did. I actually went out to Lost Lake area to do a nice little walk along the river. I don't know. I found an old Frisbee golf course out there in the middle of the nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was all alone. I had no idea where this golf course was and where it was, but I was like, oh, hole 11. I guess, and now I'm sad I didn't bring any Frisbees or anything like that. But relatively warm, pretty nice little walk. Got my steps in, got back, watched the Giants win on Sunday, and watched a crazy, some would argue, not great finish to the Canadian Open in golf. and in a 4-hole playoff where both players were just playing horrible golf. In between, also watching some other movies with my brother and his girlfriend. So, wonderful Sunday. Forgot to mention I started with tennis as well that day. Checked in on Portugal and Spain soccer as well, which was crazy as well. We'll touch on it all throughout it. But sound system, by the way, watched NBA Game Finals Game 2 on Sunday with the new sound system. Yeah, I feel like I'm in the arena. The rumbles or whenever the PA plays those those songs they play, or the defense in the middle of possessions. Yeah, it rumbled the house a little bit, I would say. So that was pretty nice. I'm hyped up for what I'm going to experience on football Sundays with this thing. So there's a lot to go in direction here. I didn't know where to kind of start. I think one of the big things, though, is to touch on the college sports ruling that happened over the weekend, including the new NIL enforcement. It's all great arbitrary rulemaking that's going on here, but is it going to actually be enforced? That's the main question. Yeah, it's great to have guardrails in place. And for those who don't know, the NCAA settlement happened on Friday. House versus NCAA settled on Friday, where it seems like athletes from previous years are going to get paid. But on top of this, the ruling allows for some sort of idea of a salary cap amongst colleges that they can pay their players. The number, I believe, is $20.5 million. That each college can pay directly to an athlete, and that is it. That is the number you can stop at. And then each individual NIL deal will be reviewed by some sort of new organization, or it's called the College Sports Commission, and players will have to report a deal of $600 or more to this College Sports Commission before they can allow it to be an actual NIL deal, as opposed to a deal of somebody just paying a player money just to pay a player money to be where they're at. I know we talked about NIL athletes and where guys get money from, and I'm assuming this comes into after the fact. I assume old deals are just going to remain in existence, and then whatever new deals are made after this will be whatever they are. We discussed this last week with the Texas Tech pitcher, I imagine, with $2 million just thrown at her. If this happened later, if this happened next year, that would probably not fly anymore with this College Sports Commission. I would imagine she gets grandfathered into previous deals because the deal happened before this decision. But on the one side, I feel like, yes, this is nice to have rules in this place, but also you could also argue that there could be a movement that this oversteps what is already working for some big colleges, to the point where we've heard ideas of SEC talk moving away from NCAA completely, and Big Ten potentially as well in that aspect. And if you put too many guardrails on this, that college sports as we know it will explode and turn into something that we don't see remnants of anymore. And then NCAA becomes useless at this point, because you have the SEC and Big Ten competing at this one level, then somebody else is competing at the other level, and then the revenue sharing is not equal in any form or fashion because it all just kind of fractures in some form or fashion. That's my completely pessimistic look at it when it comes to this situation, because I think a lot of people say, yes, great, rules on NIL. This is all going to work out for everybody. The little guy has a chance at the table, and to me, I say you can't really unring the bell with this one when it comes to the big schools. Once they start having this money that they can pay these players, they will look at the situation and say, well, we're a little bit bigger than what the NCAA can enforce on us, and we're going to go do our own thing. That's where I worry the situation goes. I don't know if you guys have opinions on this as well, but this is my initial reaction to it is great, but I don't see this lasting beyond this year.
Yeah, I think this has kind of been the talk of the town in college sports over the last couple of years. NIL has definitely created this non-amateurism basically in college sports, and some people like it, some people don't. I do like the fact that this is going to affect like all NCAA sports, not just the big ones like football, basketball, and all 43 NCAA sports will be included in this. But yeah, definitely some question marks that need to be answered quickly and efficiently when we are talking about NIL in the future, especially.
Julia, in the same route, right? If you think about these things, your school, ASU, just had a fantastic run at it. But the idea that because things can be a little more equitable because or at least the idea is it's a little more equitable after the fact because of some certain guardrails put on. There's a big ASU donor that comes in and wants to bring things in, but clearly you lose the momentum of that from this past season because of this NIL deal. What do you overall think? Do you think this creates equity across, or do you think this creates more tension in some form or fashion with how this all looks as far as it's concerned?
See, I can see both sides, and I'm still kind of struggling to juggle with the idea of both sides and whether this is good or not. I'm glad that players are getting paid, and especially across the board, but I think that there's going to be some tension involved with that, and I'm not sure how that's going to follow through.
But this doesn't solve the issue that I think is the biggest issue, which is not the money. It's the ability for these players to move wherever they want, right? The transfer portal was never discussed in this thing, and the transfer portal was a COVID idea because players were in a state of flux because there were colleges that were playing their sports because they lived in states that were playing their sports as opposed to other colleges that couldn't play sports because certain rules and restrictions didn't allow it in the COVID era. And now this still has not addressed that issue, in my opinion, where the players are moving around. And I'm wondering if these contracts or this regulation can allow more language into these NIL deals that state that if you leave, this breaches the contract. We do not need to pay you in this aspect. The college will cut off immediately what you owe, or conversely, you owe back to the college because you did not fulfill that contract. That's what I still am waiting for in the settlement of this thing. And that's what I'm still kind of trying to grapple my head around. And I'm wondering if another lawsuit will come if a player has to challenge that aspect of it. So there's still so many more avenues to go with this. And I know we're up against it on the clock here in this segment, but I simply think there is still so much more to go. This doesn't solve all the issues in my mind, but at least in the idea of it, it gets you to a place that makes it feel like there's a little more structure as opposed to the Wild West that has been for the last 4 or 5 years. It's not fixed. It is not fixed after this, but at least it's moving into the right direction. That's kind of where I sit. So let's take a quick break because we're up against it here. When we come back, how about them Giants? We got to talk about them. Who's going to the All-Star break? We're going to decide that next here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Fresno's flooded with junk removal companies. Most are slow, sloppy, or overpriced. Here's the difference. Everyday Junk Removal shows up, hauls fast, and gets out. Furniture, gone. Mattresses, gone. Construction debris, yep, gone. Dumpster rental, handled. Rated 5 stars on Google because they don't screw around. Right now, get $20 off a half load or more. Get your quote at everydayjunkremoval.com or give them a call at 408-9132. Everyday Junk Removal. Get through the clutter.
What happens when your determination to advance your career meets online education? More than you ever thought possible. At Fresno Pacific University, we're committed to our mission. We're committed to you. That's why we're continually bringing new programs online. Complete your bachelor's or master's degree in a format that works for you. Discover what's possible at Fresno Pacific University. Learn more at online.fpu.edu.
It would be a bit of an understatement to say there are plenty of men's clothing brands out there. At Patrick James, we're a bit biased. We offer comfortable, high-quality clothing at very competitive prices. Patrick James delivers impeccable classic looks that keep your wardrobe moving forward in a confident, modern direction. See for yourself online or come into our store on 780 West Shaw to find the style and brands you're looking for at Patrick James.
The wait is over. Valley Pure presents Crazy Horse, the wild new flower from Cowgirl Cannabis. This isn't just a strain, it's an experience. Ready to get on the wild side? Then saddle up and ride with Crazy Horse. Available now only at Valley Pure. Bold, untamed, unforgettable. Don't just hear about it, live it. Get to one of Valley Pure's 5 locations and grab your Crazy Horse today. Cowgirl Cannabis, blaze the trail.
Sports fans, whether you're gearing up for your next adventure or simply searching for the perfect ride, Ed Dina's Auto Center has you covered. Now, let's hear from the 2018 Mountain West champion, Marcus McMarion.
Hey, it's Marcus McMarion. At Ed Dina's Auto Center, they'll make car shopping as smooth as a game-winning play. Whether it's a truck, SUV, or the car of your dreams, their incredible team is here to guide you every step of the way. Ed Dina's Auto Center in Danuba and now in Visalia off Mooney Boulevard. Online at eddinasautocenter.com.
I make sure that we have plenty of parts for the service department and the customers in the front counter.
That's Al Carmona, parts manager at Pioneer Equipment Company.
A lot of farmers come in, they know what they want, and if they don't, we try to help as best as we can.
Pioneer carries a wide selection of Kubota, Land Pride, and Nelson parts. Stop by and see us in Fresno or Reedley. We'll get you a cup of coffee and the parts you need.
We have really good customers. Pioneer Equipment's a great place.
Visit pioneerequipmentca.com.
Roger Dunn has the new Callaway Paradigm AI smoke drivers to take your game to the next level. State-of-the-art technology. They've created the most advanced driver face in the history of Callaway Golf. The AI Smart Face is designed to create a sweet spot, and not just the center, but all over the face. AI smoke drivers, fairway irons, and putters. The AI smoke driver, it's sweeter from every spot. Paradigm AI smoke drivers. Remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
At FFB Bank, we believe banking is more than dollars and cents. It's about people. That's why we're a farming-focused bank for hard workers, a future-forward bank for big dreamers, and a family-friendly bank that actually knows your name. From your first loan to your biggest milestone, FFB Bank has the tools to help you chase your goals, crush them, and score big. Because your wins are our wins too. So what can FFB Bank do for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
The legend of the Phoenix.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. Valley's local sports leader here on this Monday, Reaction Monday, as I like to call it. Always what we do here on this Monday, we react to all the things that happen over the weekend. So much happens over the weekend, I'm telling you. There's so much to go over. And one of those things was the San Francisco Giants over the weekend, who has continued to turn things around. I'll tell you, Julia was here earlier last week, and Jorge was here, and I'm telling you, there were some panicked opinions about this Giants team when it lost that one-run game to San Diego back on Wednesday. There was a lot to kind of worry about with this group. Of course, moves were made into, it was a Tuesday night loss by the Giants. So going into Wednesday, I would say everybody was kind of worried about what the Giants would look like at this time moving forward. And, well, since that time, they go on to win 5 straight and complete a stat which I had to double check because I'm pretty sure this is a pretty insane stat when it came to it from MLB. I saw this on the Giants broadcast yesterday. The Giants homestand is the 4th ever homestand in Major League history that are 7 games or plus to have every game decided by 1 run. in MLB history, only other times it's happened. The Cubs back in 1906, the Dodgers in 1986, the Twins in 2005, and now the Giants in 2025. Torture Giants baseball. I don't know how old you guys remember 2010 Giants, but they've defined that team who won the World Series as torture. That was the one word I remember them using in 2010 when the Giants ended up winning it all. So fascinating weekend for the Giants. Of course, I knew Gonzo was at the game Saturday, and Gonzo took his young child to his first baseball experience, although I would say the baby was not cognizant of what was going on other than the experiences and the sounds of the ballpark. But if he was, he'd be crying because the Braves blew another game on Saturday. Matt Chapman, the hero, 2-run homer, thrilling win. Giants win 3-2 in that fashion. Giants the day before, wild pitch scored. Tyler Fitzgerald wins it, walk-off fashion. Back-to-back walk-off wins. Then the Giants just hang on 4-3. Yastrzemski finally breaks through and drives in a couple. And then scores on what was just such a Bravesian play with Ozzie Albies moving to his left, kicking the ball out into right field after trying to field it, and leads to a Giants 4-3 lead. And the bullpen, which has been the best bullpen in MLB this year, shutting things down at that point. I mean, there's a lot to like of what we've seen. The Braves are horrible, so I don't know what more you can kind of take from that. The Giants play a horrible team starting tomorrow. My favorite team, the Colorado Rockies, starting tomorrow for 3. And then it sets up what will be a series that a lot of people will be paying attention to in Major League Baseball, them in L.A. against the L.A. Dodgers. I am hoping to have a couple of my buddies in here Friday for Friday's show. One a Dodger fan, one a Giants fan. So I'm working on that, see if we can hang for the hour and a half before NBA Finals Game 4. So it was quite the weekend for the Giants to get it done, and there's a lot to wonder about with this team. We are officially little over a month away from the MLB All-Star Game. A lot of ballots are being sent out, I would assume, from all the baseball people in America. This is the time to vote for the MLB All-Star Game. One of my favorite things about the All-Star Game. I remember going as a kid, and I don't know if you guys ever gone to the ballparks or were old enough to remember this, but back in the day, before like the digital like vote on your phone thing, they had these ballot cards, and literally they were hole punch cards. And you would they'd have kiosks all around the stadium, and you pull them out, and you would just punch a hole in who you wanted to go to the MLB All-Star Game, and then you would slide it into a ballot box. Surely that wouldn't spoil the integrity of the MLB All-Star voting. But
totally not.
Or me being a kid just wanting to poke a hole in every single one. Because, I just like doing that, poking the hole in everything. But now they do it all digitally, so you don't get that opportunity to do so. So I gave a test to you, Julia. I wanted to come up with a list of some players for the Giants who I believe should be an All-Star or should not be an All-Star. I have some lists in front of me, or some stats in front of me. So do you have that list in front of you, Julia?
I do.
Okay, so, and Tanvir, you can be invited in this discussion as well, of course. And Julia, of course, you can be a part of this discussion too. So who are we starting with? Who are you putting up first for an All-Star game?
Okay, I think I'm going to go with Heliot Ramos.
Heliot Ramos, I think, yes, he was an All-Star last year, 294 average. I'd say he has been the most consistent Giant outside of another name I could think of. 11 home runs, 33 ribbies. He's got a 1.2 WAR, which has him third on the team right now. But I'd say his statistics are maybe the most casual fan-friendly to it. And I would say he is the most electric player on the Giants to this point this year. He fires people up a lot, especially with that big double. He took the lead on it against San Diego. Being a previous All-Star, sometimes the floodgates open for you to then make the All-Star game numerous times. I'm going yes on Elliot Ramos. What about you, Tenveer?
Oh, I agree. I mean, he's been playing pretty well. His average is 20th in the MLB right now. I think that whenever you need a clutch hit from him, I think Elliot Ramos has definitely been that guy. 33 RBIs. I agree. I think this guy for sure should be an all-star from this Giants team.
It's going to be interesting to see who makes it as far as that's concerned. Julia, what about you? Where do you land on Elliot Ramos?
I mean, like you said, I think he's one of the most consistent players, and I think that's why I picked him. He has a really good average, really good on-base percentage, and most RBIs on the team, and I think that's a big deal, especially for this Giants team.
I'm just trying to think of where he's competing against in the National League as far as all-stars are considered, because there's only so many spots out there as far as outfield is concerned, and I'm wondering who would be, eating into his ability to get on the field. P. Crow Armstrong, I can think of a name for the Cubs. Jackson Merrill is a name I can think of for that as well. Fernando Tatis has been phenomenal for the Padres. You feel like a popular vote would get Juan Soto there as far as that's concerned with the Mets. James Wood has been incredible for the Nationals. He might be the lone Nationals representative as far as the All-Star is concerned. And then there's also household names like star players who haven't really been great, but people know them. Corbin Carroll, Kyle Tucker.
Carl Armstrong.
Yeah, like I said, PCA. Even Ronald Acuna, who had a real hot start out of the IL. If he has a phenomenal June, you can see Acuna sleeping in there. So there's a lot of names, not a lot of places in the outfield. That's my only worry about Elliot Ramos, because those names are PCA, James Wood are guys that weren't there last year that allowed Elliot Ramos to go in, and it could be interesting. So whether I think he deserves to be in, yes. Whether he can get in, I'm not sure. But next name.
Yeah, so based on the Giants, I ended up having a lot of outfielders in this list. My second was Jung-Hoo Lee.
See, so Jung-Hoo Lee got up to like a crazy start, right, with the MVP side of things. He's second in batter WAR for the Giants with 1.8 on the docket, and I think that's defensively what he's been able to do in center field. He's kind of been the phenomenon, fun fan favorite for the Giants up to this point. 276 average. He has really, I would say, cooled down a little bit considerably for this team, but has been overall solid. I'm kind of leaning, I would love to see him there, but I am kind of leaning to the no department for Jung-Hoo Lee, because as great as April's been, it's been a little bit of a tough side for the May, although I absolutely love his defense and what he's been able to provide for the Giants moving forward.
Yeah, I think, as you said earlier, the amount of good outfielders in the National League right now is abundant, right? And I think with Elliot Ramos, I think being the better of the two outfielders, I think that he has the chance, and that's why I think Jung-Hoo Lee, on the other hand, while he did start off very hot, I just don't see him getting to this the All-Star game.
What about you, Julia?
Yeah, I think that's what I struggled with most, is that there's other players that are better. But if I'm just picking out of the Giants, I think he's a fan favorite. He's loved. He's good at the game, and that's why I picked him.
I'm now thinking about this, and I'm just kind of like, do I think defensively? And I am a person who values defense way higher than I think a lot of the casual fans sit there. I don't think the casual fans sitting there saying, "Wow, I think about the defensive play of both players." But to me, Jung-Hoo Lee is leagues ahead of Elliot Ramos when it comes to defense. Elliot Ramos breaks on some balls that are definitely not in the right direction, and then has to go back and make some crazy catches to make it a routine play look not routine. So I would say Jung-Hoo Lee defensively shines for me as an all-star, but I just don't think casual fans can translate that well.
I also think him being a fan favorite, because it is a fan vote, you definitely could see Jung-Hoo Lee getting more votes than Ramos.
You could see, you could definitely see that too. If the Giants market it away, I think Jung Hoo Lee certainly is on the fringe. He could be like one of those popular players that could get to that aspect. I'd love to see him in his All-Star. And who knows what June looks like for Jung Hoo Lee. We could still see like 3 weeks of Jung Hoo Lee, especially in the national stage facing the Dodgers. We'll see if that translates into something. What do we got next game?
All right, next I'm going to pick Robbie Ray.
Yes.
He's been incredible. I mean, he's got the 13th best ERA in the league. He's just great, and he's consistent, and that's why I picked him.
Robbie Ray, yes. The Giants, to me, are the only team that really has some true starters out there as far as pitching aspect is concerned. 8-1 record, but you don't put the record aside. Just listen to this. His 2.3 WAR, one of the best in Major League Baseball right now. Robbie Ray needs to be in there. His strikeout to walk ratio as well, very decent. Lowest whip on the team as a starter in that aspect as well. Lowest ERA. Robbie Ray, yes, 100% yes.
Dude, he's 8-1 this year, and that's first in the tied first in the MLB. And I think that he maybe a guy like Logan Webb is kind of the Jung Hoo Lee of this situation, where you might say that he's more popular and therefore he's going to, even though Logan Webb has been amazing.
Logan Webb's had a heck of a year too.
Amazing year, but I think he might be that underrated guy, quote unquote underrated, right? That may not get in, but I think he definitely deserves to get in for sure.
Are we going to say Logan Webb next?
Logan Webb is my next pick. He has the 14th best ERA in the league, right under Robbie Ray. I mean, he's only 5-5, but I don't think that his record goes to show how good he really is.
What about this strikeout to walk ratio? 101 strikeouts to 17 walks in Major League Baseball. His K through 9, 10.4 right now. And he pitched a heck of a game against the Padres. I believe he's up next tomorrow for the Giants against Colorado. 1.6 or 1.16 whip, 2.58 ERA, 1.8 WAR pitching. Guys who are near 2 WAR at this point of the year in baseball statistics for pitchers, that's as good as you can get. I don't know how you can't include both of these guys on the All-Star game. It's just simply that's how good the Giants have been pitching-wise, and they need to be there as well.
Yeah, I think both deserve it for sure. Logan Webb is a hallmark for this Giants team in terms of pitching, and I think that he has been as good as he's ever been this season. And him and Robbie Ray both, to me, deserve to be on in the All-Star game.
Do you have any other names here, Julia?
See, I added Matt Chapman. I mean, I think he's a fan favorite. He has the most home runs on the team. He has 30 RBIs. I would say he's pretty consistent, so he went on my list. I'm not sure if he would actually make it, but for me, I still put him on my list.
Third base is tough. I'm kind of seeing where the third base side of things is for the NL. I don't know if he's competing against a lot of guys out at third base. So I'm curious to see Nolan
Machado,
Arenado.
Riley.
Machado's having a sneaky good year. Riley's good. Nolan Arenado's been pretty good this year, right? As well.
Suarez for the D-backs.
Yeah. Defensively, he's the leader in team WAR, by the way, 2.9 WAR, wins above replacement, simply because I think his defensive metrics have been phenomenal. Even though I feel like I turn on a Giants game occasionally, every time I pay attention to Matt Chapman being good at defense, he seems boot a ball. But he's known for the moment. I think he's on the outside look again, but if he has a crazy June, we could see that as well. But I kind of am on the not really side of things for Matt Chapman.
Agreed.
I got one more name for you, Julia, unless you're out of names.
I'm out of names, so hit me.
How about reliever Randy Rodriguez?
Dude, I was going to say the exact same.
Randy Rodriguez has a 1.6 WAR out of the bullpen. He's not the closer, but you do occasionally get those reliever spots get on the MLB All-Star game. 0.61 whip, a 0.61 ERA in 28 appearances for the Giants. 3-0, has a save. His strikeout to walk ratio as a pitcher, 43 strikeouts, 3 walks as a reliever. He has the best K through 9 out of anybody on the Giants. How about 13.2 Ks per 9 for Randy Rodriguez? I know relievers don't normally get this spot, or at least they always get like 1 or 2 spots, non-closers. I feel like Randy Rodriguez has to be in the conversation of best reliever in the National League, in my opinion. Despite him not being a closer, he deserves some kudos. And if there's any baseball savants out there, I think Randy Rodriguez needs to go to Atlanta.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree for sure. Best K through 9 on the team was the big stat that I really wanted to point out. 13.2. Like, I think he's played phenomenally as a relief guy this year, and I agree. I think that he deserves to go to Atlanta.
I trust Randy Rodriguez with my life. I really do. I trust him. He's been phenomenal. I don't know if you've been watching some Randy Rodriguez. Go watch some Randy Rodriguez, Julia. This guy's been phenomenal.
I definitely will. He's very underrated, and I like that pick.
Yeah, so there we go. All right, so those are some of your MLB All-Stars for the Giants. Feel good. I feel good. That's where we settle in with the picks. The other final one I would throw in there is our guy, Wilmer Flores. I just want to shout him out. Best in RBIs in a lot of categories. A team leader in that sense. Kind of a resurging year for him, even though he's a DH first baseman. I know first base is going to be really, really tough in the National League as far as that's concerned, but I wonder if there's a DH spot for that as well. But I just had to shout out Wilmer Flores, who's been on a tear this season for a guy who I wasn't even sure if he could still be a Giant moving forward. The Giants are nowhere where they are supposed to be if Wilmer Flores isn't producing the way he is, with nearly 50 RBIs at this point. I mean, he's like chasing Aaron Judge in terms of RBIs, which is just insane to me. So Wilmer Flores is like my another final honorable mention as an all-star.
Yeah, he falls into the first base category for the ballots. So, a guy like Freddie Freeman, Pete Alonso is going to be up there. Matt Olson maybe.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. Right?
Who just got hurt, by the way.
Yeah, so I think you could have a shout there for sure.
Yeah, it sucks because they're going to put him at first base. I wish there was like a DH slot, like where David Ortiz was.
I wonder who they gave the DH slot to this year for the Giants. That's Encarnacion. That's who it is.
Okay. That's it there. Feel good about that. I don't know. We'll make it. I think the Giants are a four-man all-star team. And generally when you have four guys, you're going to the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes with this group. I got to make a ballot, and we'll see how it goes from there. But let's take a break, because when we come back, we'll wrap up this first hour and continue on with our show. Stay with us, 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Fresno Pacific University prepares you for a life and career beyond a degree. But what does beyond a degree mean to Valley students?
Class schedules that fit my schedule.
It means easily transferring credits so I can pick up right where I left off.
For me, it's getting a degree as quickly as possible.
Having a community that supports me.
Fresno Pacific University takes you beyond a degree. Now accepting applications at fpu.edu.
Hi, I'm Jim Schaefer with Helena Agri-Enterprises. When it comes to water management, it pays to be sustainable. Resgenix is a water use management tool designed to increase irrigation intervals across a variety of soil types. The easy-to-use polyacrylamide is designed to both increase water retention and infiltration in a convenient liquid formulation that can be applied through irrigation, water, or conventional spray applications with ease. Improve water efficiency and manage every drop with Resgenix. To get more information on Resgenix, contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer. Always read and follow the label instructions and check registration status before use.
The wait is over. Valley Pure presents Crazy Horse, the wild new flower from Cowgirl Cannabis. This isn't just a strain, it's an experience. Ready to get on the wild side? Then saddle up and ride with Crazy Horse. Available now only at Valley Pure. Bold, untamed, unforgettable. Don't just hear about it, live it. Get to one of Valley Pure's 5 locations and grab your Crazy Horse today. Cowgirl Cannabis. Blaze the trail.
Summer is here in the Central Valley, and the action of Valley Athletics is where you want to be. Phil Benotti here to tell you about the big VBA All Skills Camp starting at the end of July. It's for 3rd through 8th graders to get in the fun and focus on the skills that it takes to be a top-notch volleyball player. Spots are limited, so be sure to sign up fast. Space is also available for the All Sports Camp as well. Basketball, volleyball, and pickleball to name a few, all led by former collegiate and professional athletes. Just reach out for information at their website, valleyathletics.co. Valley Athletics, developing the athlete in everyone.
They say when you do one thing long enough, you get to be pretty good at it. Locally owned businesses led by multiple generations of family learn early on about the value of customer service. Of course, having great products, especially in the world of technology, is a clear advantage, but nothing is more important than making customers your number one priority. My suggestion for the right company for digital office technologies and services is CBM, California Business Machines. With offices in Fresno and Visalia, this top-tier Kyocera dealer has led the category, not only in technology, but with customer service. When you partner with CBM, you're aligning your business with a premier, nationally recognized company. Since 1953, CBM has been helping Valley businesses manage, change, streamline, and control their expenses. In fact, California Business Machines pioneered the 3-cent color copy, and I'm sure they'd love to tell you more. Call 225-5570 or check them out online at cbmsolution.com.
Whoever it was that said rainy days are followed by rainbows and pots of gold definitely wasn't in the raisin business. Rain in the wrong place at the wrong time can be a disaster, a crop disaster and a financial disaster. In short, it can mean there's no payday for all of your labor. Fortunately, it doesn't have to be that way. The solution? Crop insurance for raisins. Bowman & Associates, your local crop insurance specialist, has been writing raisin crop insurance for over 40 years. Bowman & Associates is one of the largest crop insurance agencies in the state and the nation. Call Roger, Kent, or Quinn Bowman today and let them design a policy customized to suit your individual growing needs. Time is running out to purchase raisin insurance. With the unstable weather patterns and the current low premium rates, now is the time to call Bowman & Associates at 499-2020. That's 499-2020.
Bowman & Associates, the crop insurance specialist.
License number OF64178.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. We are rolling along here on this Monday afternoon. Hope everyone's enjoying themselves. Just a few minutes left in this segment before we sign up for the hour and then come back for 4 o'clock. So just a few things to go over as far as the house cleaning items are concerned. By the way, we had some state baseball, state softball results that we didn't get a chance to announce over the weekend. So without further ado, we had I had 4 brackets left that are relevant over the past weekend here. And so without further ado, here are some of the results that we got a chance to pay attention to. Fowler, of course, they played Friday afternoon on the docket there. Fowler had Roseville. Ended up falling 8-2, so Fowler's season came to an end in the semifinals. Rancho Cotate ended up winning that Division III NorCal Baseball Playoff Championship. In SoCal, Division IV, want to give a congrats to a Central Section champion in baseball. Ridgeview, the Wolfpack out of Bakersfield, was a winner on Saturday. They beat Banning 1-0. On the road. So Ridgeview, a team that we saw win a D2 Central Section championship over Kingsburg. We see them defeat Banning and win a state title or SoCal baseball championship outright from the CIF in Division 4. So congrats to Ridgeview and congrats to the Wolfpack crew for becoming a champ there. In softball, one more baseball championship here. We had Corcoran, who moved on Friday with Corcoran beating Newview Bridge 4-0. Corcoran had Pioneer on Saturday, but the Corcoran Panthers fell in that championship 4-3. But nothing to hang your head about there. Corcoran is a great program, and they will look to continue to build off of that moving forward. We did have one softball result of note over the weekend. Of course, we knew Woodlake was in a championship, taking on the other Central Section team out there, Pioneer Valley. They had a matchup out in Pioneer Valley. Woodlake, I saw a video on the socials of them being ushered out of town, right down, I think it's called Valencia Avenue out there in Woodlake, Main Street down there. Well, big congrats to the Woodlake Tigers softball program. They get a 4-3 win over Pioneer on Saturday. Woodlake Tigers a champion out of the Central section, wins the SoCal Softball D4 Championship. How about that? So congrats to Woodlake. I know we had Woodlake on in the past. I'm sure Paul Metters might be working on getting them on for Saturday. So big congratulations to all the teams that have participated in state softball, state baseball in that aspect. What an achievement to get this far, and hopefully everybody enjoyed themselves this season, and I can't wait to see how it all turns out moving forward. So that wraps it up there. And that wraps it up for our hour because we got still so much to get into with this show. So coming up next, we will talk NBA Finals. Boy, what an interesting result last night was. Was it good? Was it bad? Who needed what as far as the result is concerned? I'll tell you what, I was mesmerized by the game just sitting in its own essence of it last night, watching that while flipping between Red Sox and Yankees. I'll tell you what, I had trouble sticking to the NBA, though, last night after the fact that my Red Sox were putting it to the Yankees in that point. I will say I have a gripe with Sunday Night Baseball because it felt very much like a Yankees broadcast last night, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this bias. The Red Sox are only 7 games back of the Yankees. We're in June, and now we just called up Roman Anthony. I'm going to be unhinged for the next 3 weeks. Stay with us. Behind the Bench rolls along here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Take me out to the ball game.
Baseball is back, and it doesn't get any better than the Fieldhouse Sports Bar and Grill, indoors or on the patio. Root for your team while enjoying their famous burgers, dogs, and fries. And did you know they have the coldest beer in town? No, seriously. With 16 draft beers on tap, served in an ice-cold pint, it'll sure get you cool for the summer. The Fieldhouse Sports Bar and Grill. Food, sports, fun. On Copper Avenue at the entrance to the beautiful Copper River Ranch.
Hey guys, it's Phil Benotti with Behind the Bench, here to tell you about my friends at Clovis Truck Center. Remember, summer is right around the corner, and you need to be ready for all the fun that you can have on the road. And if you have a truck for work or play, you know it's important to have everything you need to make the summer a blast. That's why you need to go to my friends at Clovis Truck Center. We're talking all the towing that you need, whether it's for boats or RVs. Need a brake controller on that fifth wheel? Clovis Truck Center has it. They think of everything over there. Just another reason they are bigger than the bedliner. Also, you're probably wondering if you have enough room to transport that summer outdoor equipment. Clovis Truck Center offers roof rack solutions, not just for trucks, but for cars and SUVs as well. So get your summer off on the right foot and head over to their shop. You can find them just south of the Clovis Rodeo Grounds out there in Old Town Clovis. Clovis Truck Center, the first, the biggest, and still the best in the Central Valley.
The Fashion Furniture experience includes all of the latest innovations in youth furniture, from bunk beds to homework desks, storage to study. It's the most imaginative use of space you've ever seen. If you're looking for youth furniture options, check out the Kids World collection at Fashion Furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California. On El Paso across from River Park.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Sports fans, whether you're gearing up for your next adventure or simply searching for the perfect ride, Ed Dina's Auto Center has you covered. Now, let's hear from the 2018 Mountain West champion, Marcus McMarion.
Hey, it's Marcus McMarion. At Ed Dina's Auto Center, they'll make car shopping as smooth as a game-winning play. Whether it's a truck, SUV, or the car of your dreams, their incredible team is here to guide you every step of the way. Ed Dina's Auto Center in Dinuba and now in Visalia off Mooney Boulevard. Online at eddinasautocenter.com.
Get your business noticed and stand out from the crowd by visiting Mega Prints. Working with the Valley's most prestigious and high-profile businesses since 1998, we print and install custom-designed signs for businesses of all types and sizes. From yard signs to banners to wallpaper and fleet graphics, Mega Prints has the state-of-the-art capability to turn the signage you've dreamed of into a reality. Visit megaprints.com today to see our work and what we can do for your business.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Your home for high school sports. 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader. KFIG Fresno.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Nick DeLuca. Major League Baseball Monday. Red Sox taking 2 or 3 from the Yankees over the weekend, opening their series with the Rays tonight. Boston hit 5 homers in the win at Yankee Stadium last night, adding some more power to their lineup today, calling up Roman Anthony from AAA. He'll start in right field and bat 5th. Number 1 prospect in all of baseball, hit 288 at AAA with 10 home runs and 29 RBIs in 265 plate appearances. Red Sox placed outfielder Weiler Abreu on the 10-day IL with an oblique strain. Elsewhere, NBA Finals even at a game apiece. Thunder with a dominant showing in Game 2 last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continuing his historic postseason, and ESPN's Jay Williams thinks the Thunder still have a big edge in the series.
OKC was up double digits in Game 1. It takes the perfect circumstances for Indiana to have these incredible comebacks, and if you're OKC, you definitely help them to do that. And this to me felt more like the OKC team. Now, will you get 38 plus points off your bench every game? I'm not sure, but it felt like they had control of the game from beginning to end.
Williams on Get Up. Game 3 Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern from Indianapolis. Coverage of every NBA Finals game right here on ESPN Radio. Stanley Cup Final continues tonight. Series shifting to Sunrise, Florida for a pivotal Game 3 after the Oilers took Game 1 in overtime. The Panthers bounce back with a double OT win in Game 2. Teams that hold the 2-1 series lead in a Stanley Cup Final go on to win the series 80% of the time.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, as Aaron Rodgers prepares for his first minicamp with the Steelers, I'll tell you what success could look like for him in 2025. It's on Sportsman Like, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guest.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks, but super excited to be here.
Phil Benotti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here, brought to you by Helena Agri here on hour number 2. Hour number 2. How are we doing on hour number 2 here on 1430 ESPN Fresno? 4:02 is the time as we get you closer and closer to 6 o'clock, closer to your evening, sports watching, whatever you're going to be watching, however you're going to be watching, wherever you're going to be paying attention to. Big thank you for listening and watching on any program here. Of course, another reminder, we're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. Be sure to tune in over there if you want to see this wonderful, eclectic, brilliant face of mine, as opposed to just listening to it and not having any frame of reference of what I look like. I want you to make sure you know exactly who you're getting this information from. And so be sure to tune in here on the Facebook Live. Anyways, all right, we are here live at 4 o'clock. Lot to get to still. Johnny Bravo going to be joining me in about 15 minutes or so from the Fresno Grizzlies. Johnny Bravo is back after a couple weeks of hanging out. But we got Grizzlies baseball coming up this week, so we want to get into that as far as that's concerned. Some great promotions. There's some promotions I'm very excited about when it comes to the Grizzlies, so we'll discuss it there and then there. So much to get into with this weekend, of course, and so we get into what we were watching last night. I'm sure a lot of people were tuned in for at least the beginning of it, and then it turned into maybe something else yesterday for a lot of people, which I would say by third quarter, end of third quarter, start of fourth quarter, a lot of people decided to find something else to watch. I, for one, found Red Sox Yankees to watch last night. But this game 2, Thunder ended up winning 123-107. Didn't really stay competitive. It kind of felt like the game that should have been game 1, frankly, for the Thunder. And then Indiana could not stop hitting baskets, and the Thunder could not make a basket in any sense of the word. So that is where we are. The series is tied at 1 apiece. And I think this is exactly where people thought this series would be? Sure, maybe. I don't know. I think a lot of people would give Indiana credit of getting a game or two based off the series. And what we saw last night was the full force of the Thunder and what they can be defensively and what they can be on the boards and what they can be when it comes to their ability to be the most dominant team in the NBA. I'll read you a statistic here. Best win percentage following a loss in the season, including regular season and playoffs. Only the Lakers of 86 and 87 have a better record than this Thunder team. Thunder are 17-2 after loss. Only twice have they ever lost back-to-back games this whole season. The Lakers were 18-2 in such instances in 1986-87. Did they win the title? Yes. The Thunder are poised to potentially win a title if they can get 3 more wins as well. We are now tied at 1. What this would involve is if Indiana, and not necessarily forcing Thunder to lose 2 back-to-back games, because certainly Indiana could win 3 of the next 5 and prevent that possibility of the Thunder needing to lose 2 games in a row. But I think last night went about exactly as a lot of people would expect it to go. Indiana had that game in game 1. I'm sure they would have liked to have game 2, but I think there was a lot that wasn't shown from this Indiana side as far as where they were at. They felt like they played contently, even though I don't think they were content, but it felt like they had a little bit of a safety net in last night's game as opposed to what they maybe were facing if they lost game 1. In that aspect. So, Thunder tied up. SGA is incredible. He continues to perform at a very high level. I'd say even at this point, he could average about 25 the rest of the way, and SGA would probably be your MVP of this series if the Thunder were able to win this one. SGA had 34 points on the night last night, averaging 36 in this series, which is the most points per game through a player's first two career NBA Finals games in league history. Now, a lot was made of what Tyrese Halliburton's production was last night, and there's, I think, 2 aspects to it, of course, in this sense, and is Tyrese Halliburton a good player when he has to force things for him to happen on offense, or when he defers and when he generates offense in different ways? Is he a better player? Well, certainly when you look at point totals and the way things are going, his turnover ratio to assists was not great at all last night. I think Tyrese Halliburton would be the first person to tell you he did not perform well last night in the aspect of this basketball game. So, which was funny because I think the first Pacer bucket was a 3-pointer by him, and I don't think he got a single point until the fourth quarter after that, which goes to show you what the Thunder were capable of. But are there big picture aspects to last night's game, or do we feel like that was the one expected to happen, and now we don't really know anything until Game 3 happens? Where are you at on this, Tanvir?
I mean, I think there are 2 big things that have come out of this first 2 games, in my opinion. One, you kind of alluded to it, Tyrese Halliburton. Honestly, he didn't play good in Game 1 either. He had an amazing bucket at the end of the game, but he had 14 points. I believe he had 16 in this game. So he has not been at the level that he was in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and that's definitely hurting the Pacers. And you saw that how his supporting cast wasn't as good either last night, and therefore they weren't able to get back into that game. On the other side of the ball, right? I think that OKC, they have honed in on this pick and roll where they are now scoring so many buckets, and you have them going right at Halliburton. OKC, I mean, repeatedly going at Halliburton as the screeners defender, and then they're just getting 4-on-3 advantages going towards the bucket on these cutters. So I think that this is a big thing. These are the two biggest things that I think Indiana needs to improve on if they want to win Game 3 and moving on into the series.
Do you want some real inside basketball statistics here that I'm looking at here from the ESPN research portal?
Yep.
Including the regular season playoffs, Halliburton has played 6 games against the Thunder over the last 2 seasons. He has failed to record 10 drives in any of these games. In Game 2, he had 9 drives, which led to a total of 2 Pacer points on those plays. That's 0.22 points per chance, which is his worst efficiency on drives in any game of his playoff career.
And as I said before this series started, right? This series, the Thunder especially, they have the guards to defend Halliburton at a very good level. You have Kason Wallace, you have Alex Caruso, when you didn't have guys like that in previous series, and I think that's really affecting him to start this series for sure. They need to figure out a way to get him driving to the bucket, whether that be more pick and rolls, whether that be getting him on cuts.
Pacers did not score a single paint point in the first quarter. Couldn't establish anything. Like I said, you continue to add to that mantra of it. Indiana has recorded 659 complete passes in the series, but only 16 of those came with the receiving player being in the paint in this series. That's a 2.5% rate of completed passes inside the paint. Second lowest rate over a 2-game span for the Pacers this season, and their second lowest rate and their lowest rate in a 2-game span this postseason. Simply, OKC is betting on the idea that Indiana can live and die by the three-pointer. I think one statistic I heard from the broadcast last night is that Indiana took advantage of the ability that they could find space in the corner threes, the efficient three-pointers in that sense, and OKC felt like they crashed out on those corner threes a little bit more, said no to those, and tried to get them to go on more of the elbow and the straightaways as far as that's concerned. So allowing that kind of mid-range and straight-on three-pointer range to be where Indiana needs to attack in that sense and say no chance they can go inside the paint whatsoever is kind of where it's at. Pacers have averaged a possession length of 19.2 seconds when Halliburton brought the ball up in Game 2. It's the longest average possession length for the Pacers when Halliburton has brought up the ball, which tells me they simply aren't finding the lanes that they are needing to find with OKC. So how do they break that down? I don't know if they have an answer in that other side other than you simply just have to make the shots at the top of the three-point arc to allow OKC to be a little more respectful to those shots and then see if you can spread things out that way. But simply not recording a single point in the paint in the first quarter doesn't establish anything for you if you're Indiana. So it was dead from the rival on that aspect. And maybe that's why OKC is as great as they are. And Game 1 is the aberration. Game 2 is more what we were probably meant to see.
Yeah, I mean, SGA is playing an amazing series already, and to your point, like, he is attacking so well in this series. I think on the defensive side of the ball, they are on another level. They're pulling these big guys like Siakam and Turner out further and further to allow them to get into the paint, and it's just not a good formula for the Pacers. I think if the Pacers want to recover in this series, I think first of all they need to have better play in the offensive set in terms of three-point making from guys like Nembhard, guys like Benedict Mathurin, who I think have given them quality minutes over these last couple of series, and they're just not playing. I mean, Nembhard I thought played pretty well, but Mathurin on the other hand I think needs to show up a little bit better. And I think Siakam and Turner, they need to have a little bit of a better system in terms of picking up these pick and rolls, not necessarily flying up to that three-point line whenever they are brought up.
Do you want to guess how many transition plays were recorded by Tyrese Halliburton on Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, doesn't seem like many.
1.
Yeah. So
And you know what it resulted in?
let's hear it.
A turnover.
Yeah.
So transition, maybe speeding the game up. I think there was a lot talked about the pace of the Pacers, right? And whether they can speed up OKC. Well, now here's your answer, right? When they throw out this 2 big man lineup is, can you now quicken the pace a little bit? Can you get out flying? Can you find lanes along OKC? That it's a dangerous proposition to play because I think OKC is good in the transition, but at least you allow things to get a little more frantic and hectic, and you take the big man out of it a little bit more if you quicken the pace in that. I'd rather take my chances going on that aspect and maybe making the game a little more crazy in that aspect than sit in the half court, try to work offense, and clearly you're not generating anything there. You're scoring points in the paint when you're in transition. That's simply where it is. I think that's the easiest way to score inside the paint is in on transition. And I think the Pacers have to maybe ramp it up a little bit as far as where it is in terms of pace. I don't think they're dead yet. I really don't think last night proved that they're dead in any aspect, but I'm curious if that's the adjustment made, is whether let's get this thing going to 120, 130 is a winning number as opposed to where it was last night, 123, but let's be frank, 107 is where the Pacers went as far as point total is concerned. I think they can get to 20-plus more points and see if they can, make it run with OKC. And like I said, OKC is a dangerous team when you make it run, but at least you can maybe rebound the ball a little bit better and take out the bigs in that aspect. Maybe that's the adjustment.
I think also going home, right? The Indiana's been 6-2 in these playoffs at home, and I just think that it is a very dangerous place to play. But I think it is also a testament to Mark Daigneault that in his first finals that he is able to make these kind of changes and put the Pacers guards in these type of situations where they are struggling. So I think that he's done a phenomenal job in this series, putting together a good defensive plan against Halliburton, who was cooking with fish grease over these last couple of series.
I think a lot was made about his case on Wallace move, and I think last night showed that's where his asset can be, is what he was kind of looking for in that sense. And so I think Daigneault has done a really good job of trusting that a little bit more as opposed to moving away from it when it didn't really work in game one, but understanding that sometimes it's a series where you need to visualize what's kind of going on here as opposed to reacting to it per game on a game-by-game basis. This is going to be a long, drawn-out series. I think this finals has to go 6 games with the way these coaches coach. This is not a 5-game set. This is at least going 6, at least going 7 in my mind, just how on the capabilities of this. I'm fascinated to see what game. I think Game 3 is going to be probably the best game of the series in my mind. I know Game 1 was Game 1, but I feel like this Game 3 coming up on Wednesday has the makings of a really, really phenomenal finals game into Indiana. You're going to feel the tension. You're going to feel everything out there, and I'm curious to see what role players step up for Indiana because role players don't need to travel. They got the home aspect of it, so there's all kinds of different factors moving in. And, man, we have to wait till Wednesday
yeah, right.
to know the answers.
It's definitely the most anticipated game, in my opinion, but I don't know if it's going to top Game 1. I mean, that was an instant classic.
We'll see. All right, Johnny Bravo's here, and he's waiting, so let's not keep him waiting any longer. Talking Grizzlies baseball, what's coming up on the homestand? Stay with us. You're listening to 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Roger Dunn has the new Callaway Paradigm AI smoke drivers to take your game to the next level. State-of-the-art technology. They've created the most advanced driver face in the history of Callaway Golf. The AI Smart Face is designed to create a sweet spot, and not just the center, but all over the face. AI smoke drivers, fairway irons, and putters. The AI smoke driver, it's sweeter from every spot. Paradigm AI smoke drivers. Remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
Sports fans of the Central Valley, are you ready to step up your game day grilling? Step into the Butcher Boss and discover winning flavors the champions crave. Ask about their 5 for $35 deal, where you can feed up to 5 people for $35 every day. Located right off the 41 north of Avenue 11, stop by the Butcher Boss today and become the boss of your barbecue.
No matter the time, morning, noon, or night, Black Bear Diner in Fresno has you covered. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner served all day just the way you like it. At Black Bear Diner in Fresno, you can count on them serving up hearty portions that satisfy even the hungriest appetites. Plus, the little Cubs can enjoy their brand new Cubs Corner too. So gather your family and friends, bring your appetite, and make it a meal to remember at Black Bear Diner in Fresno, corner of Shaw and Marty. Black Bear Diner.
Prices on steel and materials are going up, but at Pacific Steel Supply, they're still delivering the best deals in the industry. Whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects, Pacific Steel Supply will match or beat any competitor's price by an extra 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. With 24/7 service, fast delivery, and the best prices, the time to act is now. Get your free quote today from Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno, Ashland, and Parkway off Highway 99 or online at pacificsteelsupply.com.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Fresno's flooded with junk removal companies. Most are slow, sloppy, or overpriced. Here's the difference. Everyday Junk Removal shows up, hauls fast, and gets out. Furniture, gone. Mattresses, gone. Construction debris, yep, gone. Dumpster rental, handled. Rated 5 stars on Google because they don't screw around. Right now, get $20 off a half load or more. Get your quote at everydayjunkremoval.com or give them a call at 408-9132. Everyday Junk Removal. Get through the clutter.
Craving something different? Lynn's Restaurant Group has a variety of spots to satisfy every craving. If you're in the mood for teppanyaki and sushi, Hino Oishi offers an unforgettable Japanese experience. For bold, flavorful Chinese dishes, Spicy J's has exactly what you're looking for. Enjoy a hot pot experience at J-Pot and top it off with boba from JT Inside. Whether dining in or ordering out, every meal is memorable. Visit lynsrestaurantgroup.com to learn more.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Here rolling along in this hour number 2, and we are pleased to be joined by one of our reoccurring guests for the week here, Johnny Bravo in studio. Johnny, how are we doing on this Monday?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me as always.
Great to have you. How are we doing? We got Modesto week coming up for the Grizzlies, back at home after a week in Stockton, of course, and I know this team is looking forward to being back at home. Of course, you're looking forward to be back at home here in lovely, warm Fresno. But what excitement do you have? First full homestand of June here on your docket here. Excited to have Modesto in town.
Yeah, very much so. You know, it's so funny. I think we had such a busy month of May that once we got to last week, you know, having a true week off where we weren't prepping for Tequila Fest, didn't have games at home, it felt like a really long week. Like all of us around the front office are just good to, you know, glad to have the guys back home. You know, as you mentioned, they're definitely ready to be back home in Fresno, sleep in their own beds, you know, just get to be back in the friendly clubhouse and all of that good stuff. So it'll be a fun week. Like you said, Big Bad Modesto, you know, we're at the point in the season, is a reminder for all the listeners, we have a first half champion and second half champion in the California League, and then those two people go ahead and square off for the playoffs when we get to that point in September and October. We're wrapping up on that first half. I think we've only got 10 more games in the first half is I think where we're at right now. It's halfway through that Visalia Road Series. So that feels really weird to say that the season's almost halfway done, but I know the guys are starting to turn their sights towards that second half of the season and looking to turn things around.
Well, I'm looking at the standings right here. You could play a big-time spoiler for Modesto. They're only 2 games back of San Jose, and so I assume that's a big-time motivation for this Grizzly squad, who I recall last time you had Modesto in, it was a very good performance from the Grizzlies side of things. I counted that 4-2 record against Modesto in that last last series you had him in. This is the last time we will have Modesto here in Fresno. Also,
It's
and
crazy.
I also imagine that's you get a little bit of memories here, Johnny, with the Modesto Nuts. Maybe there's a little, bittersweetness to the idea that this is the last time we see Modesto Nuts baseball here.
Absolutely. It definitely feels weird, right? It definitely says a lot about the changing landscape of baseball, really across the sport, right? So we'll just soak it in as much as we can. Bittersweet, like you said, I think is the perfect way to put it. They've had our number a couple of years. So, to be able to put this series behind us and, kind of roll on to the second half, I think will be really big for the guys. And like you said, the ability to play spoiler it really makes these games mean something, even if maybe not for the standings when it comes to the first half of the year. It just gives them a little bit more oomph to go out there and play their hardest.
Of course. And so what's great about the structure, right? And for people who don't know, even if you have a rough start, there is an opportunity for this team to still make the playoffs starting in this next half. You mentioned it. I think you said halfway through the Visalia series. So there is hope. There is hope for this team to have some playoff baseball down the stretch. So we'll look to turn the page. But let's talk about some of the things you can do at the ballpark, of course, and a lot of great games. Of course, Tuesday night starts with the first pitch, 6:50 against Modesto. You got these early side of these games, of course, and a lot of excitement there. But, of course, I look at Thursday, and it's back.
It's back.
Malmo Oat Milkers. I saw your coworker Jack.
Yep.
On Mother's Day, he pulled a milk ochre hat and he wrote another M on it and it said "Mom" on it.
Pretty good, huh?
Pretty intuitive, right?
That's one of those things that it's a long season, and us having been in this industry multiple years, you kind of look back at some things from previous years and you're like, how did I miss that? Last year we played as the Malmo Oat Milkers on Mother's Day, and the fact that it took us to this year to realize you could just add an M to the logo and have it say Mom, big missed opportunity from our side of things last year, but we'll take it. But yeah, this is an incredible league-wide partnership with the company Oatly. And above all, what I always say is it really shows the power of minor league baseball, right? The fact that you've got this company out of Sweden who sees this incredible opportunity to get into 120 different markets across the United States and to do something so quintessentially minor league baseball, like rebranding every single team to play as the Malmo Oat Milkers. We're taking it to a different level this year. Thursdays, of course, are our 1v1 food truck battles, right? Thanks to our friends over at Fresno Street Eats. And this week's theme is milk and cookies, because of course it is, right? So you got the Malmo Oat Milkers taking the field. You got a cookie throwdown, a cookie clash is what we're calling it, down the left field line with two of our food vendors. And it's going to be a fun time out at the ballpark.
I can't wait to see what kind of offerings are going to be offered there. I think there's going to be a lot to first of all, Johnny, I got to ask the magical question, though, is how do you milk an oat?
That's a heck of a question. I'm not sure. I think it's you crush it down as much as you can, but I haven't quite figured that one out
I had
yet.
to put you on the spot. I had to, Johnny.
Of course,
I had to put you on the spot. You can't just call yourself the Oat Milkers and not know what I'm...
You're not wrong. But, all joking aside, I got to say, as funny as it is, these uniforms are like one of my favorites just because of how classic they look, right? We're one of the only teams in minor league baseball who gets to have black pants as part of our alternate identities. We'd originally purchased them when we were the Tacos black uniform, have kind of repurposed them for the Tigers, and to be able to wear them now with the Malmo Oat Milkers, you got the black pants, the white body of the uniform, I guess you could say, the black sleeves. They actually look really, really sharp, and we're 1-0 as the Malmo Oat Milkers, so we'll take it.
Speaking of classic uniform look, you mentioned the Tigers, and of course we're coming up on Tiger Tribute Night this Friday, including fireworks as well. The classic history of the Fresno Tigers. I think a lot of people are now a lot more used to the knowledge of this. They're very well versed in it. But for those who don't know, Fresno Tigers, it was a thing back then, and it's good that you guys are reviving it again once again.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite, if not the favorite night we do every single year on the promo calendar. To have the ability to pay homage and pay the respect that the 1946 West Coast Negro League baseball Fresno Tigers truly deserve, but didn't get back in the 40s here in Fresno. For us to have the ability to tell that story, right, and to educate our community that baseball history in Fresno goes much deeper than the Fresno Grizzlies, goes much deeper than the Fresno Giants of the 80s, right? It goes all the way back, well before 1946, of course, but the Fresno Tigers are a piece of that history that their story wasn't really told that much. And for us to be able to have this incredible platform where we're able to help educate our fans, both young and old, and we've done this in various ways throughout the years, right? We've had a Tigers replica jersey giveaway, we've had a Tigers pennant giveaway, we've talked with people in the community, and to see the community rally around this team and really, pay tribute to what was so special about the 1946 Fresno Tigers is really cool. I always love, being a huge baseball history nerd myself. Every year around this time, we'll do a little bit of a deep dive to see, what new information we can find, right? And finding information, especially with the, advent of artificial intelligence and all that, it's become so much easier to do that kind of deep searching because there isn't that much info out there about the Fresno Tigers. So every little nugget we can find really is special. So Friday night, it's going to be incredible. Your one chance to get to see the Fresno Grizzlies make their annual transformation into the Fresno Tigers. And like you mentioned, you wrap it all up with Friday night fireworks presented by Community Health Systems. It's a great night at the ballpark.
Can't wait. Friday night, always a great time at the ballpark. But you top it with Saturday, and there's a lot happening Saturday. And I don't think you guys are totally like. It wasn't initial in the plan, but let's be honest. If you're not at Chick-Tancy Ballpark Saturday, I don't know what you're doing. First off, you piqued my interest with GrizzCon, which is Central Valley Cards and Collectibles, bringing that to you guys. I don't know if you want to reveal on air. You pulled a pretty big card yourself.
I
in
did,
recent times.
yeah. No. I did. It was pretty cool. Charlie Condon autograph card was, in my Bowman blaster box. I actually got at the Grizzlies team store. I was there shopping for my Fresno Tacos hat of all thing. Saw the boxes of Bowman cards there. I was like, it's been a few years since I've bought some baseball cards, and lo and behold, it was the final pack in that box. Charlie Condon signed baseball card, which again, just having the Colorado Rockies relationship to it as well, felt pretty good about it. Saturday it is a absolutely packed night. It wasn't originally how we planned it, but it ended up working out just perfectly. With Kate Flannery, who played Meredith's on The Office's rescheduled appearance coming up on Saturday. She was supposed to be out a couple weeks ago, ended up falling ill, so it just worked out perfectly, right? You can't have something like a Comic-Con without having a special appearance, right? So we've got Kate Flannery coming to the ballpark. We're also going to have just about 36 different booths with trading cards and collectibles all throughout the concourse. Like you mentioned, thanks to our friends over at Central Valley Cards and Collectibles, it's going to really feel like a fun place. We're opening the gates early on Saturday.
Okay.
We're opening them at 3 p.m. Chance for fans to get in early, get to check out all the different booths and all that before they get to enjoy the game, right? So it's going to be a full day experience at the ballpark. Kate Flannery is going to be showing up right around 5:45 or so plenty of time to go check out those booths, then get in line to meet Kate. And again, it's Chick-Chancy Park is the place to be on Saturday.
Yeah, it's certainly. I know I'm going to be interested in heading out there to see what kind of offerings are out there. I've been dabbling in it myself, of course, as far as that's concerned. So, you piqued my interest because I'm like, I've been looking for some of those Bowmans.
There you go.
I'm wondering if you guys still have some.
We do. We have
store.
only a few boxes left, but we got them.
Those are hot. Let me tell you, those are great. Okay, then Father's Day, which is just a special day. You guys are, I'm sure, excited to just host Father's Day. You get Mother's Day and Father's Day this year, and no better place, of course, to the ballpark than hanging with Dad, of course. And I imagine it's a special time. You, of course, I'm sure you have memories of going to the ballpark with your dad. And what is it like when you think of Father's Day and going to the ballpark?
Yeah, dude, no, it really is special, right? There's nothing more, no holiday arguably more synonymous with baseball, other than maybe the 4th of July, than Father's Day, right? Going out, having a catch with Dad. Like you mentioned, Dad is the reason I'm in this business. Dad's the reason I have the passion for baseball that I do. I know he's watching and listening right now, as he always does, and that just, it truly, truly means the world to me. So yeah, Father's Day, it's our first 5:05 Sunday start of the year, so we're starting to transition our Sunday starts to the later time to, accommodate for the weather. And as with every single Father's Day at Chick-Chancy Park, it kicks off our pregame catch on the field. So that will start at 4:05 p.m. We give our fans just about half an hour before the game begins to go down to the field and have a catch, right? And especially with Father's Day, it's the perfect day to do that. We've also got, and we haven't put this out anywhere yet, so another ESPN Radio exclusive.
Let's go.
The Mac Daddy Burger.
Yes.
So in previous years, we've had the father of all burgers, which has had ribs on it, and all that good stuff. This year, we're taking a new variation of it. We got the Mac Daddy Burger, which has the fried mac and cheese on top of it. There you go. Fried mac and cheese. You got onion rings. This thing, I was lucky enough, being the marketing director and quote unquote having to take photos of this stuff. It usually means that you get to be the taste tester too. And Jack, who you mentioned earlier, and I got to try this last week, and oh my goodness, like Chef Sarah outdid herself again. You have to get this thing because it is absolutely incredible. We did split it, and I will say, that was probably the smart thing to do because that thing is absolutely massive and it just tastes fantastic.
It looks like that crunchy stuff that you mentioned. It looks, oh my gosh, I'm drooling as I go in here. No, that's exciting, and I know I'm gonna have to take a sampling. That's for sure.
Let's do it.
So got to make it happen. Okay, so I made it. I was joking about it before earlier because I wanted to bring it up to you live on air. I'm gonna say. You mentioned you get all kinds of promotional ideas from some people. So I have an in-game opportunity for you guys if I can just float it to you. So we were arguing last week on Friday's show about if you had a 15-second head start for Saquon Barkley.
Sure.
Could you beat him in a race?
Okay.
Right. And so I thought about this. And first of all, do you have an answer?
No, I absolutely couldn't. No way. I consider myself relatively fast, but no.
So we thought about the other races, instances, and whatever, and I thought about the freeze.
Yep, absolutely.
We thought about the freeze and everything like that. And then I came up and I'm like, what can you do for the Grizzlies in that aspect? So I'm wondering, could you give Parker T. Bear a 15-second head start and make a fan chase him?
We probably could. I gotta say, Parker, he moves pretty well.
I know.
But running as Parker is
in those big shoes.
Yeah, he's got big shoes,
but
right?
You give him a 15-second head start, and then you make the fan chase him from pole to pole, like in the freeze.
I think if you did like baseline, Parker would totally, or down the bases and like 5-second head start or something like that. I don't know if Parker's winning a lot of those races. He might need a little bit more than 15 seconds, but I'm down to try it out.
I might have to R&D it, but I'm telling you, I hope this is. I'm sure all liabilities are signed, all that great stuff.
We always have waivers and all that. The thing I got to ask is, if we do this, are you going to be contestant number one?
Oh my gosh, I'd die.
Not to throw you on the spot.
I gotta get the right shoes. I gotta get the right shoes. I'm not a sprinter, Johnny. I'm not a sprinter. I am a endurance guy.
Sure.
So we'll see. Maybe you give it a shot. But
we'll
just
test it out a little
there.
bit. I like where you're thinking, though.
Throwing
I like
this
where your
at
head
him
is.
like because I just love the idea of Parker running. I just think of that last video I had from that one game that we won't speak of Parker running around.
Well, I gotta say, it's again, minor league baseball is wacky and it's fun, and as with any live events, we script out every single thing we do, right?
Yeah.
Every single half inning, every single pregame is literally down to the second. But nothing ever goes perfectly in live events, and my absolute favorite is when Parker's quad ends up failing on the warning track for whatever reason, whether it's he forgot to put gas in it or, the battery dies, and he has to run from center field to home plate, and he gets about, a third of the way, and you can just tell he's gassed. Yeah. Like, he's just puffing and puffing and all that. So, he is used to running.
Yeah.
I don't know, all the way from foul pole to foul pole, but like you said, we're going to R&D it a little bit, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, maybe alter ego, call him the Grizz or something like that.
It.
As far as instead of the freeze, the Grizz.
The Grizz.
As far as that's concerned. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, Johnny. How can people get tickets for this upcoming series and all games coming up left for the Grizzlies here?
Yeah, FresnoGrizzlies.com is always going to be your way to do it. We keep that website updated absolutely daily, multiple times a day. So you've got that little slider as soon as you go to the homepage. That's got your direct links to upcoming games, including 4th of July. We're only about 3.5 weeks away from that. Biggest game of the year, and tickets are flying for that already. So you got to go get your 4th of July tickets. But FresnoGrizzlies.com or follow us on social media at Fresno Grizzlies. We'll get you all taken care of, and we'll see you out at Chick-Chansey Park.
Can't wait. Good to have Grizzlies baseball back in this week, Johnny, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. We'll be right back with more Behind the Bench right after this on 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader.
For nearly 20 years, Donald P. Dick has been the Valley's go-to expert for solar design and installation. And with their unique price match guarantee, they don't just match the competition, they beat it and give you the difference in cash. Install solar today and start saving money, including the 30% federal tax credits and the various incentive programs that are available when you switch to solar. For a no-obligation quote, call 255-1644 and put Donald P. Dick to the test.
It's crunch time, and KFC's got the winning play. Right now, grab a 10-piece bucket of the Colonel's hot, crispy fried chicken, thighs, and drumsticks for just $15.99. And if you're planning on feeding the whole team, make it a meal with sides and biscuits for just $10 more. That's big-time flavor without blowing the budget. So, whether you're watching the big game or feeding your starting lineup, this bucket brings home the W. No errors, no drops, just finger-looking good chicken from KFC, where every bite is a game changer.
Need cash? If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Clausen Honda wants to buy your car. If it's running, we want your late model Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Subaru, Acura, or Honda. Just call Clausen and ask for our VUP to schedule your appraisal appointment. In just 10 minutes, you'll get your cash value quote. Yes, we are eliminating the hassle of getting rid of your used old car. So if you're ready to sell, we are ready to buy. Call Clausen Honda of Fresno today. If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Get cash for your car. Clausen Honda.
Hi, I'm Jim Schaefer with Helena Agri-Enterprises. When it comes to water management, it pays to be sustainable. Resgenix is a water use management tool designed to increase irrigation intervals across a variety of soil types. The easy-to-use polyacrylamide is designed to both increase water retention and infiltration in a convenient liquid formulation that can be applied through irrigation, water, or conventional spray applications with ease. Improve water efficiency and manage every drop with Resgenix. To get more information on Resgenix, contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer. Always read and follow the label instructions and check registration status before use.
At FFB Bank, we believe banking is more than dollars and cents. It's about people. That's why we're a farming-focused bank for hard workers, a future-forward bank for big dreamers, and a family-friendly bank that actually knows your name. From your first loan to your biggest milestone, FFB Bank has the tools to help you chase your goals, crush them, and score big. Because your wins are our wins too. So what can FFB Bank do for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
The wait is over. Valley Pure presents Crazy Horse, the wild new flower from Cowgirl Cannabis. This isn't just a strain, it's an experience. Ready to get on the wild side? Then saddle up and ride with Crazy Horse. Available now only at Valley Pure. Bold, untamed, unforgettable. Don't just hear about it, live it. Get to one of Valley Pure's 5 locations and grab your Crazy Horse today. Cowgirl Cannabis. Blaze the trail.
Roger Dunn has the new Callaway Paradigm AI smoke drivers to take your game to the next level. State-of-the-art technology. They've created the most advanced driver face in the history of Callaway Golf. The AI Smart Face is designed to create a sweet spot, and not just the center, but all over the face. AI smoke drivers, fairway irons, and putters. The AI smoke driver, it's sweeter from every spot. Paradigm AI smoke drivers. Remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Big thanks to Johnny Bravo for joining us in the last hour, or last segment, excuse me, not last hour, in this last segment. I'm telling you, there's some real traction here. There's some real traction here with racing Parker, although I may have talked myself into, or I may have been painting myself in a corner to have to be the first test subject.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you going to take him up on that offer?
I do not know. I'm trying. I am not a sprinter, folks. I am not a sprinter. I am built for power, not for speed. I'm like a Ford. What is the not F-150? What's the other one?
F2, F3.
F-250, whatever it is. Those don't get going. I don't have giddy up. I'll just tell you that. Oh my gosh, the Red Sox just got a run on the dumbest way possible. I'm sorry. I'm paying attention to Roman Anthony's debut because I'm a Red Sox fan, and that's where I'm at with it. Tampa Bay looked at second, thought about throwing it, and the bases loaded with 2 outs, and then they threw it to first, and it appears to be late, although they're going to review it. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, there's still so much left to go here as far as the show is concerned. Many things to kind of react to, of course. And why don't we get a little international here? Are either you the tennis watchers? Do you watch tennis? Pay attention to tennis? Or no?
A little bit.
Better question, did you pay attention to tennis this past week or yesterday?
Yes.
The French Open. Because some would argue it got a little viral on social media yesterday morning with Sinner versus Alcaraz, which I am starting to realize that this is probably our Nadal versus Federer, our generation of
yeah, for sure.
I am old enough to remember the Nadal Federer peak years in that aspect. Oh, they called him out. Dang. All right. Anyways, it was marvelous to watch. I'll set it up for you guys if you weren't paying attention to that as far as that was concerned, because tennis was incredible. You had Alcaraz, who faced 3 match points down in a 4th set to stun Yannick Sinner in 5 sets. At one point, he was dead to rights. It's the most, I believe it's the most match points faced to come back and win. If you're talking longest major finals by time on the court, Sinner versus Alcaraz is the second longest match ever in tennis history. The only one that defeats it is 2012 Australian Open, Novak Djokovic versus Rafael Nadal in 5 hours and 53 minutes. Longest major men's final by time on a court. So that's wild to say. But 5 hours, 29 minutes yesterday. And honestly, could have gone longer because the tiebreaker wasn't even that close. It was 10-2. Alcaraz ends up winning. Alcaraz, by the way, 22 years of age, 34 days old as well. Youngest 5-time major champion in the men's Open era. Third youngest, excuse me. Only the guys who are younger at the time when they won 5 majors, Bjorn Borg and Rafael Nadal. The only 2 guys that are better. So we're experiencing greatness for sure. It's incredible to watch. And yesterday was cinema. If you didn't get a chance to do it, I tried to implore my friends to watch it. Nobody responded to me. It's fine. I live alone in my international sports watch fandom. I'll tell you this. The French Open has been on NBC for years, and I had no interest in watching when it was on NBC. They did a horrible job, I would say, of coverage. TNT yesterday,
Switch to TNT.
I think it was phenomenal. I think it was fantastic presentation. McEnroe was awesome to listen to. You kind of felt him being a fan while watching the match as it went along. Brian Anderson, who I think a lot of people would pay attention to and be like, wow, this guy 15 years ago who's just the play-by-play for the Milwaukee Brewers is doing all this for TNT Sports. He was phenomenal in tennis, which you never know the versatility of that when it comes to that. But I had a lot of fun. I'm assuming, I don't know if you guys caught it live. If not, it's fine. I don't know if you have any opinions on it, but
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Alcaraz coming off of that Olympics, I think that he's kind of cemented himself as, the next guy up. You had that era of Rafael Nadal and Federer, then it went to Djokovic, and now you have Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. It feels like is going to be that next big rivalry in tennis. Yannick won the Australian Open this year. Carlos has now won the French Open, and I think as we move on throughout the year, I'm going to be very excited to see if those guys match up together in the next couple of months to come through. But also that women's final, I think that
Coco
was
Gauff.
pretty good. Yeah, Coco Gauff bringing it home for the United States. She beat Sabalenka. I think another tough win. Sabalenka, I don't know about her post-match thoughts. I don't know how great that was in terms of sportsmanship.
What'd she say?
She was just basically she was just saying that the reason that she lost was because of her, not because Coco did anything good, basically. That's kind of the sentiment that we were getting out of it. Also, if Swiatek would have beat her, then she would have beat Coco in the final. And it's just, I don't know. Not
sour grapes?
It's weird from her, especially.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. So, yeah, both the women's and the men's final, very exciting this weekend.
I heard you said you caught some of the women's final, Julia, a little bit?
Yeah, I had followed it just a little bit, seeing Coco Gauff win. I think that was important. I'm a big follower of women's sports, but I also think on the men's side, Alcaraz to come back like that is insane, and I think that it's going to be interesting in the next couple of years.
Do you want to hear his betting odds when he faced 40 Love in the fourth set?
Yeah, it was insane, like +4 or something.
Plus 4,000
yeah.
at the moment. You bet $1, you'd win 4,000, something like that, or something crazy.
If you were a sinner better,
or 41. If you bet $1, you would have won 40 bucks.
Right. If you were a sinner better before, I mean, you must be absolutely enraged at him right now.
50,000 minus 50,000. Sinner was at that point in his first match point, and then there you go. It went. And honestly, Alcaraz had a lot of momentum going into that fifth set. He even took a 5-3 set lead in that fifth set. And Sinner came back and forced a tiebreak, which was pretty insane to watch in that aspect too. So the bounce back and forth. I thought going into the tiebreak that Sinner kind of had the mental edge and the momentum, and then suddenly, blinking before you even could pay attention, Alcaraz up 6-0 in that tiebreak, and there it was. Tennis, man. I don't talk about it much. Let me tell you, wasn't my sport, but U.S. Open. When's that? Coming up Labor Day weekend, right? I believe it's like
next couple months.
Yeah, U.S. Open. That's the other one I pay attention. It's Wimbledon sometimes. I hardly watch the French because the NBC had such garbage coverage, in my opinion, on it. And don't even get me started because they have the U.S. Open coming up, NBC, where that garbage presentation will come. I'm going to have to lose it over switching to Peacock and switching to NBC and switching to USA and all their crazy 4 different platforms they want you to get on to watch one damn tournament. But anyways, can't wait to watch some of those tournaments coming up. But that's kind of where I was locked in. I watched some of the PKs, by the way. Let's talk a little international. I watched some of the PKs of Portugal over Spain. I didn't watch much of the game itself. I don't know if it was a crazy one.
Oh, it was
2-2. Yeah. Recap it for us a little quick, David.
Yeah, so Spain coming into this game were kind of the aforementioned number one team. They have just come off a dominant Euros run. They dispatched Germany in Germany. They played France, actually. Portugal beat Germany beforehand. But, I mean, this to me going in...
Spain almost blew it to France, by the way.
Yes, right.
That was
it
crazy.
was 5-4. That was a really good
game. They were up 5-1, and they almost lost.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think this is a testament to how good this Portuguese side is. Obviously, you have the name of Cristiano Ronaldo, but they have such good players in that midfield. You have Bruno Fernandes, who is very good. Nuno Mendes, I thought, played very well on the wing for the Portuguese. So overall, I think maybe some casual fans will see the name of Ronaldo come up on the score sheet and think that he is still that guy. He is in the latter part of his career, but this Portuguese side, they very much have showed me that they have a lot of good players coming up through the ranks, including guys like Ruben Neves as well.
How come Portugal can always win these tournaments, but when it comes to the World Cup, I'm like...
World Cup's the toughest tournament, in my opinion.
But it's like beating these European teams like they just did. They beat Spain, who Spain is, I think... If I had to put betting odds of who was winning the World Cup next year, I feel like Spain is the number one.
Yeah, Spain or Argentina are up there
right now.
The 1-2.
Yeah, so if they're capable of doing that, although I would say maybe the question is the World Cup is such a gauntlet as opposed to just European and where you're at. But I feel like it condenses the ability of all these teams together, and I feel like you pound for pound are facing the toughest teams in the Europe side of things.
But I also think they had a little bit of a. I think their coaching wasn't that really that well, and now they have former Belgium coach, so I think that they're on the right track at this point.
For sure, interesting. It was an interesting watch for sure in that sense, and we'll see Gold Cup coming up. By the way, Gold Cup, and I put it on the docket here. Jorge Cup dates. we're bringing them back after last year's Euro Cup watch and whatever tournament USA disappointed everybody in.
Copa America.
Copa America, yeah, that one. That one where you're stuck in.
Oh, my goodness. It's the second biggest low, in my opinion, as my fandom for the U.S. men's national team.
How are we feeling about the Gold Cup, USA?
I think the roster is decent. I know that we don't have the guys like Pulisic and McKennie and Weah and Anthony Robinson out there, but I still think it's a solid roster. I just think that this is the first time in a long time that we've lost 3 in a row, and we play Switzerland tomorrow. I think that's also going to teach us a lot of things. But this is the time for some of these new guys, these MLS guys, or some of these new European guys coming in to really stamp their approval with Pochettino and really put themselves on the map in terms, especially in that 9 position, in the striker position, where you have Fuller and Balogun and Ricardo Pepi, both who are injured right now. So you have guys like White and Ajimang and Haji Wright and Josh Sargent, or Haji Wright, still looking to wrap up that kind of third slot for strikers. But yeah, overall, I think Canada probably has the strongest roster out there. Mexico is very good as well. And Mexico won the last one. So I think those are the 2 teams. Those are obviously the 3 teams always to watch. But if I had to rank them in terms of who I think is going to win, I'd probably go, I don't know. Mexico has the tenure. Canada, I think, has the roster. I'd probably go Canada 1, Mexico 2, USA 3. But the United States definitely have the chance to show out.
Oh, I ride or die. I get irrationally angry sometimes. I don't know why. I have no context for it. I'm just become a red-blooded American when it comes to soccer. You better win, or I'm going to be very disappointed.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. No context, irrational American. That's where I'm at with it, with American soccer. Anyways, okay, that wraps up hour number 2. Of course, we got hour number 3 coming up. Of course, we'll go to 6 o'clock today. No Giants baseball, of course, to get to, but we will discuss some other things coming up, including we got a 5 at 5 coming up. That's right. One of the big tournaments, big tests in golf. It's our only 5 o'clock hour of the week until Thursday. So we got a 5 at 5 to do, and this is my time to pick some of the best possible winners here for the U.S. Open for golf. So we'll do that. Plus, 49ers schedule draft. Who is getting these games? We'll see if we can get Jorge involved. Who knows? Stay with us. 5 o'clock hour of Behind the Bench coming up on 1430 ESPN.
My husband and I have worked hard to generate wealth. Now we want to enjoy it, not work hard to manage it. We have to log into too many websites and call too many people to keep track of everything. We want to simplify, view and manage our assets in one place, and make one call if we have changes or questions. We're looking for an experienced financial advisor who can give us that and keep a watchful eye on our money while we're tasting wine in Napa or Paso.
Sounds like you're looking for Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management. Our technology allows you to see all your accounts and how they're doing in one place. And our advisors are well-versed in helping clients in your position. We can even coordinate with your CPA and tax attorney to help keep them on the same page for you. So the only call you'll have to make is Napa or Paso. Visit ThiessenDuker.com to learn more about Thiessen-Duker. We look forward to hearing from you.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
I know how important some of this equipment for the farmers is. Without it, they can't get the job done.
That's Bob Aguirre, service manager at Pioneer Equipment Company.
My philosophy is get the tractor in and get it out as fast as I can. It's not supposed to be in the shop. It's supposed to be out in the field working.
Pioneer provides quality service for Kubota, Land Pride, and Nelson Equipment. Stop by and say hi at our Fresno or Reedley locations, and we'll get your equipment serviced right away.
This is a family-oriented business. It's been great working for Pioneer Equipment.
Visit PioneerEquipmentCA.com.
For over 60 years, we at DeBudo Defendus Insurance, a multi-generational and family-owned company, have proudly provided high-quality risk management and insurance solutions to local businesses. Thanks to the incredible work and personal touch our insurance professionals provide our clients, DeBudo Defendus has been named Central Valley's best property and casualty insurance company for 9 years running. Visit DIBU.com and get the business insurance you need today.
License number 0E02096.
Home office. It started a few years ago at the kitchen table.
Then, many of us turned our third bedrooms into functional workspace with every kind of technology imaginable. The home office selection at Fresno's Fashion Furniture, including the most beautiful desks, chairs, file cabinets, and accessories available. Check out the home office selection at Fresno's Fashion Furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Whoever it was that said rainy days are followed by rainbows and pots of gold definitely wasn't in the raisin business. Rain in the wrong place at the wrong time can be a disaster, a crop disaster and a financial disaster. In short, it can mean there's no payday for all of your labor. Fortunately, it doesn't have to be that way. The solution? Crop insurance for raisins. Bowman & Associates, your local crop insurance specialist, has been writing raisin crop insurance for over 40 years. Bowman & Associates is one of the largest crop insurance agencies in the state and the nation. Call Roger, Kent, or Quinn Bowman today and let them design a policy customized to suit your individual growing needs. Time is running out to purchase raisin insurance. With the unstable weather patterns and the current low premium rates, now is the time to call Bowman & Associates at 499-2020. That's 499-2020.
Bowman & Associates, the crop insurance specialist.
License number OF64178.
Take me out to the ball game.
Baseball is back, and it doesn't get any better than the Fieldhouse Sports Bar and Grill, indoors or on the patio. Root for your team while enjoying their famous burgers, dogs, and fries. And did you know they have the coldest beer in town? No, seriously. With 16 draft beers on tap, served in an ice-cold pint, it'll sure get you cool for the summer. The Fieldhouse Sports Bar and Grill. Food, sports, fun. On Copper Avenue at the entrance to the beautiful Copper River Ranch.
Your home of the San Francisco 49ers, 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader, KFIG Fresno.
Sports Center. I'm Nick DeLuca. Stanley Cup Final continues tonight. Series back to Sunrise, Florida for Game 3. Oilers and Panthers even at a game apiece. The Panthers bounce back with a double OT win in Game 2. Brad Marchand with the game-winning goal. His 3 goals in the Cup Final, tied with Mark Recchi and Igor Larinov for the most goals in a final for a player age 37 or older. Teams that hold a 2-1 series lead in a best-of-7 Stanley Cup Final have gone on to win the series 80% of the time. 6 of the last 7 have hoisted the cup. Florida minus 145 on ESPN Bet on home ice tonight. Puck drop in a few minutes. NBA Finals even at a game apiece. Thunder with a dominant showing in Game 2 last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continuing his historic postseason, and scapes David Dennis Jr. on what Game 2 means for the rest of the series.
Last night tells me that I think we're back on track with the Thunder being the better team here. And the Thunder sort of figuring these things, like having an answer for everything. That is what this team does. That's what they have done all playoffs, is that you find a weakness and they plug it up.
Dennis Jr. on Unsportsmanlike. Game 3 Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern. Coverage of every NBA Finals game right here on ESPN Radio. Major League Baseball, Braves and Brewers. Atlanta has dropped 7 in a row, longest active streak in the majors. Brewers lost 2 or 3 to the Padres, have still been playing good baseball. Scoreless in the top of the second. Chris Sale with a scoreless first.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Tuesday, we'll react to Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Oilers and the Panthers before breaking down a major decision that will shape college sports as we know them. That's Tuesday on Clinton and Friends at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on air and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Benotti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here. One more hour here on the show until we take it to 6 o'clock. Say goodnight and be back tomorrow for another edition of the show. Hope you're enjoying it. Reminder, Lee's Air Hotline, 559-320-1430 is where you can reach us. Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing, sponsoring the hotline. Also, we have our 1430 ESPN app, is where you can listen to us live and on demand. I'm telling you, it's crystal clear on the app. I'll tell you that. If you're listening to us at 1430, of course, that's analog radio for you. But on the app or streaming on 1430ESPNFresno.com, those are the places to go to listen to our show. And also, if listening's not enough for you, you want to really watch the show, hear the show, experience the show right here. I'm pointing at a camera. Got another camera. Got another camera. We're streaming live on Facebook here, ESPN Fresno, Facebook, and our Twitch as well is where you can get to it as far as that's concerned. So it is 5:03, soon to be 5:04 here. And during this hour, I'll be paying attention to the Stanley Cup Final Game 3. Of course, Game 3 getting going soon here on the docket. Stanley Cup Final Game 3, Oilers and Panthers. Interestingly enough, the series has shifted in odds. I'm a little surprised that the series has shifted in odds, to be honest with you. Panthers are now minus 115 after they won on the road. Oilers are now just minus 105. Pretty even throughout. Oilers right now at plus 120 odds for tonight's game. Panthers sit at a minus 140 to win Game 3. When the series is tied at 1, the winner of Game 3 holds an all-time series record of 23-7. So we will see if that is the case for tonight. Of course, Oilers came back in some exciting fashion in game 2 on Friday. Corey Perry, old Corey Perry, making it happen with a goal with 20 seconds to go to send it into overtime, eventually going into double overtime. Brad Marchand with the breakaway goal to win it in that one. Frustratingly enough, I was reminded by a certain breakaway that Brad Marchand had against those Panthers in the playoffs not just 3 seasons ago, and he could not convert in that opportunity. And so that is frustrating, to say the least, when it comes to that. Oilers 22-3 series record when leading 2-1 in best of 7, so that's what's at stake for them. Best record by any team in that situation in NHL history. And they're 4-0 in the Stanley Cup Final when they lead 2-1. So we'll see if that can continue as well in that aspect. Oilers, in their last 3 series, when trailing 2-1 in the best of 7, have won those last games, those 3 games in those 3 series. So there you go. Anyways, they're getting going. We'll pay attention to it. I'm telling you, for anyone who's on the fence about hockey, tonight's a night to watch. This Stanley Cup Final, I am enjoying both finals, let's be honest with you. I'd say I'm just a little bit more high on the NBA Finals as we go. The action has been phenomenal. 2 overtime games to start this series. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, which game out of both series do you think has been the best so far?
Of this one?
Of Stanley Cup and NBA Finals. If you had to pick one game, which one has been the best?
I think Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals has probably been the best one. With the comeback from Edmonton to get bounced back. Even though Game 2 was crazy, I thought ostensibly the hockey was better. I thought the game-winning goal was a lot more aesthetically rewarding to me for the Oilers and the way they played. I think it was just a simple mistake from the Oilers side to allow Marchand to break out in that aspect on a breakaway just in that instance. I'm like, I hate kind of a game ending that way. I'd rather see the tic-tac-toe kind of tactical sense of it as opposed to somebody getting on the backside. I'm sure you feel the same way in soccer or anything like that. It's just like I'd rather see the tacticalness of it than some guy getting behind the defense.
Penalty, basically.
Or penalty, yeah. It's just one-on-one with a goalie, and they're dead on that aspect. But the scoring has been apparent here. That's not the Panthers game, but the Panthers have shown the ability to be able to hang in these kind of situations, so we'll see how it goes from there. All right. For my golf heads out there, we got the U.S. Open coming up this week, starting on Thursday. As always, it's Father's Day weekend, and was a phenomenal U.S. Open last year, if we do recall. Yours truly predicted Bryson DeChambeau to win it all. And he did so in Pinehurst, beating Rory McIlroy, and Rory McIlroy losing in, I would say, one of the worst fashions you could lose in by missing a very short, I wouldn't say gettable, but very short putt to take the to at least set it into a playoff in some form or fashion. But what a iconic U.S. Open it was last year at Pinehurst. Bryson with the bunker shot got him to that position to win it all. Win his second U.S. Open. Can he do it again at Oakmont? It's going to be fascinating to see. And so what I did is I geared my 5 at 5 around the 5 golfers I think have the best shot to win the U.S. Open this year.
5 at 5 with Benotti is brought to you by FFB Bank, Future Focused Banking. What does FFB mean to you?
So there are certainly some names to pay attention to here in this U.S. Open field. The U.S. Open, of course, is at Oakmont. And if for you casual sports fans out there who say, why am I going to pay attention to golf this weekend? This is one of the most difficult golf courses I think we have had seen in U.S. Open golf history. It is going to be pure carnage out there, just northeast of Pittsburgh area out there in the Pennsylvania hills. Oakmont is known as, it is literally called the Beast. It is long. There are no trees, which is a very interesting aspect to it, but the rough and the long grass is there. 5 inches of rough as these guys are going to be trying to hit out of. The whole key to this golf course is, can you drive the ball and can you hit fairways? Because after that, if you're in the rough, you are not going to get anywhere close to the hole after that. It is a pitch out in some form or fashion. You'd rather be in a bunch of trees with dirt around you as opposed to whatever. And don't even get it started on the bunkers. There's about 100 of them out there on the golf course, and if you get in any single one of them, you are going to be in very much a lot of trouble. So who do I pick as players that I would expect to play well in this kind of tournament atmosphere? It's guys who can drive the ball well. It's guys who can strike the ball well. It's guys who can play well out of the bunkers. All of those interesting statistics that I have to pick at as far as that's concerned. Strokes gained off tee is a name is a stat I keep looking at as far as that's concerned. Strokes that are on the green as well. See if there's some statistics as far as out of bunker shots or saving shots as well. But there's 5 names I got to pick. Are there any questions from the gallery? I don't know if you guys are true golf fans or anything like that, but the U.S. Open, we could be seeing like plus scores in this aspect of this tournament. One of my favorite tournaments, also on Father's Day. Love watching this with my dad on that aspect as well. Any questions before I get to my list here about this U.S. Open?
No, not really.
Yeah,
let's get into it.
You guys ready for some betting favorites here? Let's go into it.
Number 5.
I'm going to pick Sepp Straka. Sepp Straka is an interesting name. Dude is built like a bull. He is plus 5,000 to win the thing. He's an interesting betting favorite. He's played very well down the stretch in these tournaments. I would say he had an opportunity in the Memorial. He won out in Pennsylvania earlier this year over a Shane Lowry opportunity. He's good off the green. He's good off the tee. He's had a very good year. I'm paying attention to Sepp Straka as kind of my long shot guy as far as possibly winning this tournament. I like the idea of a big, strong guy being able to have these roughs as opposed to other players, or maybe a little slight and slighting their ball striking ability. I feel like Straka and other players that can get the distance off the tee in that sense. I heard something interesting from a YouTube video from Bryson, who played Oakmont, and he said, basically, I wouldn't want to lay up with a wood here in any of these holes. I'd rather just hit it as far as I can, and if I don't hit the fairway, at least I'm up there in the crap, as opposed to back there in some other bad stuff as well. So I'm putting Sepp Straka here, number 5, as my golfer there on the list. I'm assuming I could just kind of roll on here with these things. Sorry. Number 4. Colin Morikawa, who sits at plus 25 to 1. He's 25 to 1 to win the tournament. It'd be interesting to see him win this one. He's a former U.S. Open champ, I believe, or I can't remember. It's hard to remember because it was in that COVID era. He won at Harding Park. I actually do believe that might be a PGA championship. So he's got a PGA. He's got a British Open as well. He would get to 3 legs of a career Grand Slam if he could get that done. His strokes gained off the tee, top 15 in PGA right now. Morikawa is very good off the tee when he is dialed in. I'm curious to see if he can be that way. Also, his bunker play, one of the best we can see out there in terms of golf, in my opinion. Colin Morikawa, very good. I hate it, though, when I go to Morikawa a lot because I feel like every time I do, he ends up not winning the thing or playing horribly. So I'm hoping Colin Morikawa shows up. Also got to give my guy who's from the Bay Area a little shout-out as well. So Colin Morikawa, number 4.
Number 3.
I'm going here with Bryson. And I literally just watched on YouTube a couple days ago Bryson play around at Oakmont. And I'll tell you what, I think it opened my eyes to like some of the pitfalls and the mistakes he could have. And let's be honest, it wasn't the greatest round of golf that he played, but he shot even there in one round that I saw him in his practice round there. And it was a little chilly. It was a little cooler. It's not going to be chilly or cool, and I'm curious if the warmer side of things, 85 and maybe a little humid, so a little bit sticky out there as far as that's concerned. Bryson's going to bomb it off the tee. The question is, can his iron play be dialed in? He was not sharp with the irons when it came to the Masters this past year. PGA, he felt like he was fighting it a little bit. I'm curious to see. He did a little equipment change, so I'm wondering if that's going to give him some sort of boost of confidence. Bryson's going to be a really interesting figure in this and see if he can kind of bomb it around this course in Oakmont. I got him at number 3.
Number 2.
I've been high on this guy for a while now. He is a top strokes gained off the tee kind of guy, really precise with the driver when he wants to be. He's played a lot of good golf lately, even though he struggled a little bit earlier this year. Ludwig Åberg is playing well, and I got him at my number 2 spot. Ludwig is hopefully going to improve on his putting a little bit. That's what scares me. His putting isn't at the top notch. He's actually ranked 129th in putting in the field, so that's not as great as it can be as far as that's concerned in the PGA. These greens are going to be fast, and we hope it's not going to kill his chances. But Ludwig Åberg is a guy who is knocking on the door of being an ex-superstar in golf with being a major champion. He is certainly a guy who can be a major champion, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking at him to be a major champion. Looking at his odds, 30-1. I feel like it's a really good bet to kind of throw some things at him, and curious to see where it will go from there.
Number 1.
And of course, it has to go to Scotty Scheffler. He's plus 280 to win the dang tournament, which plus 280 for a field of 160 people is insane to me. He's almost at minus odds. The dude's won 3 of his last 4 tournaments. He's been incredible. He's a PGA champ. He ran away with it. Scotty Scheffler's inevitable. And what's interesting about this course is that Scotty is going to avoid all the big mistakes he's had. His big mistakes are usually only shown when he just mishits a ball and he's not used to where the ball is going to go. Now, can he find himself in some rough and get a little into that, that irritated Scotty we see sometimes? And if that compartmentalizes over itself, I wonder where that'll turn. Ted Scott's going to be really important as far as a caddy is concerned with Scotty Scheffler, but you cannot dispute that he has to be the number 1 guy to make it happen in this week. I mean, first strokes gained total, first in PGA and strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained off the approach to the green as well. He's 11th in total driving. It's astounding to watch. He's second in scrambling percentage as well, which if you think of that, his ability to recover from a mistake is huge, and no bigger place to recover from a mistake than Oakmont is. Scotty's skill will have to yield itself. So Scotty Scheffler, my number 1 pick here in my 5 of 5.
That was Phil's 5 at 5.
All right. U.S. Open golf starts on Thursday. I cannot wait. I have some other questions of, like, who does golf want to win this week as well? I think that's an interesting question to ask simply because I don't know if there's an answer. I don't know if there's a one simple answer of who golf would want to win, because I think even Scotty winning would maybe kills some of the storyline there. And some people are maybe akin to the idea of, is this guy dominant, good for the sport of that sense of things? Or like everybody is so astronomically behind him and that he is playing so much better. And some people are saying he's kind of Tiger-like, Scotty Scheffler is. The only thing that I think Tiger made was captivating was Tiger was the maverick out there that shot the shots that nobody was supposed to shoot, and he made it happen. Scotty's the guy who's adverse to those risky shots. He's never going to do something crazy out there. He's just going to make the right move when it happens. Scotty having a bad round is him shooting par all day. And that's not exciting golf in my opinion. So that's the only thing I have with Scotty and the Tiger comparisons is you're never going to see Scotty Scheffler, try to go some sort of crazy shot that Tiger Woods would do anyway. All right, let's take a break. Coming up next, Niners draft, scheduled draft coming up next here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Welcome to A+ Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C+ Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C+ Signs.
And you want us, A+ Signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A+ Signs.
Remember, A+ has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Nick Anderson.
And I'm Jim Schaefer with Helena Agri-Enterprises. Nick, how important is irrigation management?
Well, Jim, irrigation management is extremely important. When we water our crops, more often than not, we're also fertilizing them. So irrigation uniformity and efficiency are crucial.
Nick, that has to be a challenge considering the different soil types and how they impact water movement.
That's right, Jim. That's why at Helena we recommend using our newest water use management tool, ResGenix. ResGenix is easy to use and designed to increase water infiltration on heavy soils, reduce soil crusting, and increase the holding capacity of sandy soils. Jim, tell the nice people how it works.
ResGenix enhances soil structure by coating the soil particles. Simply put, ResGenix increases pore space in heavy soils and improves aggregation in sandy soils.
At Helena, we lead with agronomy, and water management impacts our crop health and quality. You can visit helenaagri.com to find your local Helena retailer and learn more about Helena products.
Fresno Pacific University prepares you for a life and career beyond a degree. But what does beyond a degree mean to Valley students?
Class schedules that fit my schedule.
It means easily transferring credits so I can pick up right where I left off.
For me, it's getting a degree as quickly as possible.
Having a community that supports me.
Fresno Pacific University takes you beyond a degree, now accepting applications at fpu.edu.
From the roar of the Bulldog Stadium to the crack of the bat at Biden Field, Fresno State pride runs deep, and so does Precision Civil Engineering's commitment to the Central Valley. Voted 2024's best engineering firm by the Business Journal, Precision Civil Engineering brings your project to life with expert planning, surveying, engineering, and more. Proud supporters of Fresno State Athletics. Go Diamond Dogs. Go Dogs. Visit precisioneng.net today.
Need cash? If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Clausen Honda wants to buy your car. If it's running, we want your late model Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Subaru, Acura, or Honda. Just call Clausen and ask for our VUP to schedule your appraisal appointment. In just 10 minutes, you'll get your cash value quote. Yes, we are eliminating the hassle of getting rid of your used old car. So if you're ready to sell, we are ready to buy. Call Clausen Honda of Fresno today. If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Get cash for your car. Clausen Honda.
The wait is over. Valley Pure presents Crazy Horse, the wild new flower from Cowgirl Cannabis. This isn't just a strain, it's an experience. Ready to get on the wild side? Then saddle up and ride with Crazy Horse. Available now only at Valley Pure. Bold, untamed, unforgettable. Don't just hear about it, live it. Get to one of Valley Pier's 5 locations and grab your crazy horse today. Cowgirl Cannabis. Blaze the trail.
All right, welcome back to Behind the Bench here at 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. It is our continuing game we like to play here, the schedule draft. It's the one I like to create, and I might modify it as we roll along here throughout the years. But I do enjoy looking at a good old schedule, seeing where the pitfalls are and what it will present. We did Fresno State football on Wednesday. Last week, we did the Rams on Friday last week. Today, we have the San Francisco 49ers. And this will be an interesting one as we have Tanvir and Julia along with us. Each of us are going to get 5 games to pick from. And we have the order set already, as it is the last order we haven't done yet. Julia is going to be the first pick. Tanvir will be at the 2 spot, and I'll be at the 3rd at the turn from there. But before we get started on this, I think this is an interesting one because the Niners are the team with the least difficult schedule in the NFL. I think we all looked at this schedule, I think, getting ready for this one and said, wow, there's a lot of interesting ways to go about this with this 49ers team and where we can project what this 49ers team is going to do. So, what were your initial thoughts when you looked at the schedule before you made any picks? I'll start with Tanvir.
I definitely think that this is a very easy schedule for a team with so much roster turnover. I think is actually good for the San Francisco 49ers because if they had a schedule like they did last couple of years, I don't think that they would have been very good. But I think this kind of presents a little bit of an opportunity for the San Francisco 49ers in not really a rebuild year, but a pseudo rebuild year to kind of get into the playoffs and put a stamp on what their future is going to look like.
What about for you, Julia? What stood out to you the most about what the Niners faced this year?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. It's a really easy schedule. And, I mean, Christian McCaffrey's back, so I think that's going to be big. And I think this year, based on how they do, is going to be really interesting to see. Okay,
so we got 15 games to pick. 2 games will be left over. We will see what those are. But, Julia, it's kind of difficult this spot. The number 1 overall pick. Where are you going here, number 1 on the Niners schedule?
Yeah, I was kind of having trouble with where to pick with this 49ers team, but my first pick is going to be the Panthers at home.
All right. Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers. Why are you going with that one?
I mean, Monday night primetime game. I think it'll be a good game. They kind of had similar records last year. And then you're going to see Bryce Young and obviously Brock Purdy with that new contract. So I think that'll be an interesting game.
Interesting game to say the least. The Niners will get a little bit of a rest advantage by a day, having it on Monday night with Carolina at home. Interesting matchup. Carolina's an interesting, volatile team, but there could be a disaster. It could not be. So it's interesting to see where that will be by late November. Tanvir, you got the next pick. What do you got?
All right, so next I'm going to go with the Titans game at home right off of the bye week. It's I think it's a good stretch for the 49ers near the end of the year to kind of see where they are. I think they'll be in the playoff push at that time, so I think it's going to be a game that they need to win off of a bye week. It's a home game against a rookie quarterback with Robert Saleh as our defensive coordinator coming back. I think that is a perfect game, in my opinion, to start off with.
Okay. Interesting. Titans game at home. I got the next 2 here because there's games I don't want to lose, but I know I'm probably going to lose them by the time I let them go, so I'm wondering where I want it as far as that's concerned. Early weeks kind of scare me. I'm wondering where I want to go. I want to pick the game at New Orleans here, week 2. That's where I'm going to go, at New Orleans. I hate picking on the road sometimes, but I'm going to go with it because I think New Orleans is too tantalizing of a team to allow to get to that point. So I'm picking at New Orleans. I think that's a good game where the Niners can kind of wake up and get things going for them as far as that's concerned. It is concerning. It's the second straight week of a road trip. They haven't even played at home yet, but I think that's where I'm at. And speaking of home, I think I'm going to go with that Cardinals game right after it, just simply with the fact that I feel like the Niners can't lose their home opener after 2 straight road games. I think this is a game they will win. I think this is a game they need to win. I'm simply banking it on the fact that I think they can wake up for that game and beat the Cardinals at home, even despite what last year's game was, which was maybe as frustrating of a Niners loss as I think we could remember of them losing to that Cardinals game in that fashion. So I'm going to pick the Cardinal game. I might regret it, but we'll see. It might be a reach, but I think that's where I'm going to go because I kind of want a home game there at my top spot, so I'm going to pick it there. What do you got at your second pick here, Tanvir?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the game right after that one, and I'm going to go with the Jaguars game. I understand they do have Travis Hunter, but I still think that they are a couple of pieces away from being a really imposing team. I think that also that Jacksonville coming off of 3 road games to start the season, they can kind of take advantage, or 3 road games at the start of the season in general. They can kind of take advantage of that, them being weared down and kind of take advantage on the running game especially.
Is Jacksonville on the road 3 times in the start? Hold on, I'm looking at their schedule.
Yeah, it's 3 of the 4, I believe.
They're home Carolina, at Cincy, home Houston. That's what I've got.
Well, I mean, still, I think Jacksonville still, regardless, I think.
Sorry to correct you there.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure we got the right. I was like, I've never heard of a team opening 3 games on the road.
Yeah.
So, but no, you're good. Julia, you got 2 straight picks here. Where are you going?
Okay, I think I'm going to go with the Colts for my second pick.
At Indy, week 16, I think?
Yes, it's another primetime game. I think the 49ers do well in that situation. They also are at a bye and then at home and then away, so I feel like they'll be well rested.
Final road game of the year for the Niners before Christmas, which is pretty sweet for them. Where you got next?
I'm going to go with the game after with the Bears. I think by that time, the 49ers should be doing pretty well, and I think that that'll be a good game with Caleb Williams against.
You're picking all the primetime games. You like the spotlight, the Niners on the spotlight there?
I do. I think this is a big season for them, and with Christian McCaffrey back, I think these primetime games are going to be important for them, and they're going to want to do good under the spotlight.
All right, we'll see what they do there. Tanvir, you're at 3 here. You got the third pick.
Yeah, so I think this is also a pretty easy pick for me. I know 2 years ago we actually lost to this team in a weird game in the rain. But I'm going to go at Cleveland. It's going to be right before I understand it's a short week as well. It's going to be right before the bye week. But I just look at the Browns quarterback situation, and I look at the improved defensive line from the San Francisco 49ers perspective. They got Bryce Huff in free agency a couple days ago. And they still have C.J. West and Alfred Collins from the draft. Nick Bosa is still there. I think they can kind of dominate. Nick Chubb, as earlier today, just left. He's out with the Houston Texans. And I just don't see that many playmakers on the offensive side of the ball for the Cleveland Browns to kind of affect the weakest part of this 49ers defense, which I think is the linebacking core towards the middle of the field. So I think that's the one pick I think that is left in my tier 1 of easiest opponents.
Okay. I think you missed one because that's where I'm going to go next. I think it's at the Giants against Russ. I know it's an East Coast trip. I know the Niners don't do well at MetLife, but I like their chances here because of the familiarity with Russ. I just don't think the Giants have any remote idea of what they want to do as a football team. And until they kind of try to prove that to me, it feels like an easy kind of opportunity for the Niners. I know it's coming off the back-to-back road game opportunity. It's the second straight road game they have because they go to Houston. And I imagine there's a lot of emotionality to that Houston game with what they face with DeMeco Ryans as a former coach. So I understand that. But to me, Giants is a bounce-back team. It's a good game for them to go get, and I think they can handle them pretty well out on the road. So I don't have any much fears of them playing at New York. Next is interesting. I am torn between a couple home games here left on the docket because I want to make sure I get a home game before I let it go away from me here. I think I'm going to pick the the home game against Atlanta, which is a Sunday night, I believe. So I'm going to pick home versus the Falcons in mid-October. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm just chancing on the fact that maybe the Falcons could be an absolute disaster after what Penix showed. Or maybe Penix is good, but I'm taking the chance of that being an opportunity for the Niners to kind of take care of a team on a national stage once again that can make things kind of happen. So give me the Falcons at home. I think this is an interesting one, and that's where I'm going to go from there. So, Tanvir, you got another pick here.
Yeah, just to track back a little bit, the reason why I didn't pick that Giants game, first of all, it's a 10 o'clock game on the road on the East Coast, and that defensive line is so improved, but also they have Malik Neighbors, who I think can really test this defense with the Browns. I don't really see anybody. But still, good pick. I'm going to go with the season finale versus the Seahawks.
Okay. That was the other home game I was thinking about.
I think that will be a game that the 49ers may have to win to maybe get into the playoffs or maybe win the division this year. Seattle could also have their playoff fate on the line, so I think that is going to be a tough game, but I think 49ers will win that game in my opinion and get to the playoffs.
Okay. Julia, you got your final two picks here. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go home against the Rams.
Okay, a Rams game is going to go here.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure about this pick, but I feel like every year they're rivals and they normally play pretty well against each other, especially over halfway in the season. Christian McCaffrey's back. I think it should be a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you got one more here. Let's see. Do you want me to reset the board for you?
Yeah.
Here's what we got left from my memory. We've got at Seattle week 1. We've got at LA on the Thursday night. We got at Tampa the following week. We've got at Houston. And we got at Arizona. I believe those are the ones left.
I'm going to take at Arizona.
Okay.
I feel like that'll be a pretty good game that I believe the 49ers can win. Not traveling too far either. So I think that will be a good game.
Not too bad. All right, so there you go. You're locked in on what you got. Tanvir, what do we got here?
Last two drafts, I haven't really gone out there in my picks. I think I've played it a little safe, but I'm going to go a little bit out there. I'm going to go with the Week 6 game at Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I know that Tampa Bay has a lot of firepower. You got Emeka Egbuka in the draft. You got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, but history has shown the 49ers have actually played pretty well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the last couple of years, and I think Tampa Bay has kind of a weakened secondary that I think, guys like Ricky Pearsall, maybe Brandon Ayuk comes back by that time. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you still have Jawan Jennings in that offense, and I think Christian McCaffrey can exploit that defense pretty well. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a little bit of a struggle against him in that return game that CMC had last year. So that's kind of my out there pick. I could have gone Seattle week 1, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a closer game. And I think the Bucs game can really prove that the Niners are here to win this year.
Certainly. So I'm down to 3 final games. I've got at Seattle. I've got at Houston. I've got at LA on a Thursday. I think there's a clear and obvious one that avoiding the LA game on the Thursday on the short week. I think that's the clear one that I think nobody should draft with certainty. So between Houston and Seattle, I look at that Seattle game. It's certainly a test. The Niners this is a Niners statement game for them to go out there and do what they need to do. Remember, Kyle's very familiar with the nuances of what Sam Darnold is as a quarterback. He's worked with him a lot, has a lot of respect for him. And when you have a lot of respect for a player, you certainly know a lot about a player and his tendencies as well. So I'm wondering if the Niners have some sort of, advantage to facing Sam Darnold potentially in that game. So I'm on the fence there. But on the flip side, you have them playing Houston, and there's a lot of familiarity there with DeMeco Ryans and his defensive system and the way things kind of run for that Houston team, because it seems very similar to where he kind of descended from. I'm curious to see if a lot of things change for this team. It's going to be very, I would say, high-charged, emotional game. It plays at 10 in the morning, although locally time I think it's going to be noon for Houston at that time. So not too bad. So I think I'm going to pick the Seattle game just in the sense of Sam Darnold's familiarity with the Niners, but also Kyle's familiarity with Sam Darnold and probably what Robert Saleh can do against Sam Darnold and that Seahawks team. I still worry about what Seahawks can do on the offensive line and protecting in that sense because the Niners will continue to probably, as a Robert Saleh defense, attack the quarterback. So I'm going to go Seattle week 1. I just can't trust it at Houston, even though I don't think Houston's like blowing the world out of the water here with football in my sense. I think there was the clear one game with the Rams and then everything else after that was there. So Houston doesn't get picked here. So
yeah, I think that's a good pick. You know, the 49ers have won last 3 games on the road at Seattle, so I think they can definitely have the chance to win this week 1 game, especially with the familiarity by the coaches.
Pretty good division of home and road games. Here's how it turned out for the schedule draft. Julia, you went home Panthers, at Colts, home Bears, home Rams, at Cardinals. 3 primetime games thrown in there. Although I would say, and I'd pretty much argue this, I would say 2 of those could get flexed out if those teams aren't bad. So you're not even in a bad spot there because I think the Colts game could move. The Bears game could move as well. But I think that's a good slate of games. Tanvir, you've got Titans at home. You got the Jaguars at home in Cleveland, home Seattle, at Tampa. And then I go at New Orleans, home Cardinals, at Giants, home Falcons, at Seahawks week 1. So those are the slates. How do we feel about this? What was it? Anything new from this exercise? What do you guys kind of think about there?
I tried to get as many of the AFC and NFC South teams as I could. That was my main goal. I think both of those divisions are going to be kind of hampered this year. And so, yeah, that was kind of my goal, and I got the games that I wanted. So,
Julia, you feel good after this picks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm interested to see what the 49ers will do this season, and I feel like it could go either way in a lot of these games.
Julia, it's interesting to point out, you don't have a single game earlier than November 9th. So you're hoping late.
I'm going to be caught, yeah.
Late season Niners is going to be the resurgence Niners as opposed to what we saw last year.
Yeah, that's like me with the Fresno State draft, right? I had a bunch of late games. But the 49ers have been known to, before last year, right? They've been known to have really good late season runs. So I like that for her.
I have the first 3 games of the season, and then my last game is November 11th, November 2nd, and then Julia's games all pop up after me. So I'm done by November 2nd there. Interesting stuff. All right, that's the schedule draft for the Niners. We still got one more with the Raiders coming up tomorrow. Let's take a break. When we come back, we wrap up the show. Tell you what's coming up on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
At FFB Bank, we believe banking is more than dollars and cents. It's about people. That's why we're a farming-focused bank for hard workers, a future-forward bank for big dreamers, and a family-friendly bank that actually knows your name. From your first loan to your biggest milestone, FFB Bank has the tools to help you chase your goals, crush them, and score big. Because your wins are our wins too. So what can FFB Bank do for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
The following is a paid commercial.
This report is brought to you by Cigna. The Medicare annual enrollment period is ending December 7th, so now is the perfect time to check your 2023 healthcare plan off your holiday shopping list. Medicare Advantage expert Gary Culp is Chief Growth Officer at Cigna.
The Medicare annual enrollment period, or AEP, is a time for those with Medicare to review their coverage and choose the plan that best fits their needs. When looking at options, consider extra benefits offered by Medicare Advantage plans, such as fitness, vision, hearing, transportation, and caregiver support.
With an average of 43 Medicare Advantage plans offered in a given market this year, it's crucial to know how to find the plan that best suits you.
Find out about monthly premiums and out-of-pocket costs like copays and deductibles. Make sure your favorite facilities and doctors are in-network and talk to your doctor about necessary screenings and vaccinations. Most importantly, don't be afraid to ask questions of others, including friends and family.
To learn more, visit CignaMedicare.com.
Central Valley, are you ready for a seamless car buying journey? Madera Toyota Chevrolet has you covered. With their 25-year, 250,000-mile warranty and everything priced under MSRP, you're always in for a great deal. Plus, enjoy their no-pressure policy and 2 years of free maintenance on new vehicles, their way of saying thank you for choosing them. And calling all truck lovers, explore their selection of rugged Silverados, powerful Tundras, and versatile Tacomas. Whatever your needs, they have the perfect truck for you. Visit them today at MaderaToyotaChevrolet.com, where every drive begins with trust.
Hi, I'm Jim Schaefer with Helena Agri-Enterprises. When it comes to water management, it pays to be sustainable. Resgenics is a water use management tool designed to increase irrigation intervals across a variety of soil types. The easy-to-use polyacrylamide is designed to both increase water retention and infiltration in a convenient liquid formulation that can be applied through irrigation, water, or conventional spray applications with ease. Improve water efficiency and manage every drop with Resgenics. To get more information on Resgenics, contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer. Always read and follow the label instructions and check registration status before use.
Home office. It started a few years ago at the kitchen table. Then, many of us turned our third bedrooms into functional workspace with every kind of technology imaginable. The home office selection at Fresno's Fashion Furniture, including the most beautiful desks, chairs, file cabinets, and accessories available. Check out the home office selection at Fresno's Fashion Furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Roger Dunn has the new Callaway Paradigm AI smoke drivers to take your game to the next level. State-of-the-art technology. They've created the most advanced driver face in the history of Callaway Golf. The AI Smart Face is designed to create a sweet spot, and not just the center, but all over the face. AI smoke drivers, fairway irons, and putters. The AI Smoke Driver, it's sweeter from every spot. Paradigm AI Smoke Drivers. Remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
The wait is over. Valley Pure presents Crazy Horse, the wild new flower from Cowgirl Cannabis. This isn't just a strain, it's an experience. Ready to get on the wild side? Then saddle up and ride with Crazy Horse. Available now only at Valley Pure. Bold, untamed, unforgettable. Don't just hear about it, live it. Get to one of Valley Pure's 5 locations and grab your Crazy Horse today. Cowgirl Cannabis, blaze the trail.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Welcome back to Behind the Bench here, 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. I have not given out the schedule yet. We got a schedule to give out for the week, and so without further ado, why don't I give that out to you folks? Fresh new schedule. There we go. You can hear it there. By the way, Stanley Cup update before we get out the schedule. Florida leads 1-0 over Edmonton right now in the middle of the first period, just about approaching the halfway point of this first period. Florida's got a power play that's ticking away, about 20 seconds left in this power play, and then they will be full strength again. Edmonton's been playing well in this one from what I've been paying attention to. It's just Florida got the shot that broke through early. But we'll see if Edmonton can bounce back here. They're a team that generates a lot of shots, and then Florida able to capitalize on the counterattack. So we'll see if they can continue to do so here. They're full strength now. Boy, that was close. Someone broke a stick there. There was a point of a stick that went into the net instead of the puck from Florida's side. All right. So here is what we got on the schedule coming up tonight. Only A's baseball tonight on 790. A's are in Anaheim for a matchup with the Angels. That is a pregame of 6 p.m., so that's starting right after we get done. So why don't you flip on over to 790 and listen to A's and Angels baseball, 6:38 first pitch over there. Tomorrow, we will have Sportsline Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3. We'll have my show go from 3 to 5 tomorrow, just 3 to 5 tomorrow. We'll sign up at 5. At 5:10, the Giants and the Rockies will do battle from Colorado. The Giants will hope to take advantage of playing the Rockies 3 times here over the next few days. So that is on 1430. A's and Angels are going to be on 790 again, 6 p.m. pregame with a 6:38 first pitch. Wednesday, we'll have Sports on Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3. We'll have my show go from 3 to 4:30. At 4:30, we're signing off, and we'll go to NBA Finals Game 3 between the Thunder and the Pacers. That's on 14:30. Wednesday, that is on the docket. A's and Angels going to be over on 790. That is a day game, 12:30 pregame with a 105 first pitch from Anaheim. Thursday, we'll have Sports on Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3. Actually, we will not. Apologies. No Sports on Bulldog Hour because we will have Giants baseball going on at that time. Giants and Rockies will be playing in Colorado. That's an 11:40 a.m. pregame with a 12:10 first pitch. I suppose it will go through the entirety of Sports on Bulldog Hour. We will stand by over at Fashion Furniture on Thursday. We'll have a show all the way to 6 o'clock, but Behind the Bench will be going on from then, just right after the Giants game is over from downtown Denver. Following that on 14:30, Grizzlies baseball is back on 14:30. That's a 6:35 pregame with a 6:50 first pitch. Grizzlies in Nuts, Grizzlies in Modesto on Thursday. Friday, we'll have Sports on Bulldog Hour with Tony D from 2 to 3. We'll have my show go from 3 to 4:30 again as NBA Finals Game 4 is in action on 14:30. And then on 790, we're going to have a special edition of the FPU Sunbird Sports Show. That's going to make a return on Friday. You don't want to miss it. Paul Metters will be hosting that one at 6 p.m. start. So that's on 790. Be sure to listen to that one as well. You don't want to miss it if you're at FPU Sunbirds sports fan. So that's what we got there as well. And then Saturday, speaking of Paul Metters, Central Valley Sports Report. Paul Metters will be live from First String Sports from 10 a.m. to noon for the final edition of this school academic year of Central Valley Sports Report. He will take a summer break, and he'll plan to be back in August. Giants and Dodgers will be over the weekend as well. We'll have a couple of games of Giants-Dodgers. Reminder, Sunday, Giants-Dodgers originally was a 1 p.m. first pitch. That has now been moved to Sunday night baseball. So Giants and Dodgers is going to play on Sunday night, or supposedly Sunday afternoon for us on the West Coast. It's a 3:40 pregame, and I believe it's a 4:30 first pitch for Giants and Dodgers live here on 1430. Giants Radio Network will have the game. Of course, if you want to watch the game, that's on ESPN proper. So that's what's going on there. And we'll be back Monday. NBA Finals Game 5, which is now not if necessary anymore. It will be necessary for Game 5. So that will also be going on as well. So shows are affected for this week for sure. So that's what we got on the schedule and the docket for you. So just wanted to remind you, this is really, I would say, our only full edition of Behind the Bench this week. We will be in some capacity doing our show as we give out as well. So that's what we've got. Stanley Cup now 4-on-4. We got a 4-on-4 penalty. So the penalties are coming out of plenty here in the Stanley Cup, to say the least. So taking a look at some other things that are on the docket for everything tonight. Of course, like I said, A's baseball. Dodgers are in San Diego. I wanted to get a little thoughts on this if we wanted to talk about Giants possibilities because I was playing it out in my head. Giants could be in sole possession of first place going into that Dodgers series if they sweep the Rockies, and the Padres could win 2 of 3 over the Dodgers in the next 3 days. You ever see that meme, Tavira or Julie? You ever see that meme of the 2 kids fighting and the one kid like laying in the grass and taking the picture?
Yeah.
That somebody did that with Dodgers and Padres fighting each other, and the Giants are just sitting there watching the thing or videotaping the thing. It's a fascinating development in the NL West. As much as I thought the Giants were playing themselves out of it, we're now all 3 teams are within a game of each other in this NL West. I don't believe they are the best teams in baseball right now. But is this race going to be a 3-team race down the stretch? Can it be sustainable like that? Is the question just simply, is the Giants the team that everybody's going to be kind of waiting for to fall off here? Or because I'm thinking about the Padres here, and I think there's more weaknesses to the Padres than the Giants are at right now in this sense. I hope the Padres can at least do some damage against the Dodgers here in this next few days, but I think their starting is still a little suspect. The Giants kind of exploited stuff a little bit towards the tail end of it in that series against the Padres. I am curious where this race will go, but this week is about the NL West, in my opinion, in Major League Baseball, and I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to it as well. I'm curious if this is going to say a lot moving forward for where the NL West is going to be. I hope nobody separates from themselves as far as this is concerned, but I think this is a fascinating week of baseball in the National League West. What about you guys?
Yeah, big week for the Dodgers too. I think they kind of slipped back into that 1-game slot. I know the Giants were 4 games behind a couple games ago. So Giants doing well with that Braves sweep. I do think that this is going to be a 3-headed race all the way to the end. I think that not a lot separates these teams. I know that the Giants have had an up and down season. I do agree that the Padres, I think of the 3 teams, kind of had the most weaknesses. But it's just been like this for the last couple of years, right? I know the Giants haven't really been involved, but it's always been close. Whether it's a 2-team race, whether it's a 3-team race, it's always been close. So it's the most exciting division, in my opinion, in Major League Baseball, and I think it's going to stay that way. I think the Diamondbacks, I know they're 7.5 behind. I don't know if they're going to be playoff worthy.
They just lost Corbin Burns for the year.
So, but I still think they're a very entertaining team to watch. So,
what about you, Julie?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think this is going to be a 3-team race for the rest of the year. I mean, I feel like the Giants have really proved themselves in the last week, and I hope that kind of continues. I feel like the Padres definitely did get exploited a little bit. We can see some of their weaknesses that maybe we hadn't before. And so I think this is going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to this weekend, the Giants playing the Dodgers, and seeing how that goes.
I mean, and we got a minute here. Giants pitching, better than both those teams, correct? Starting pitching wise?
Yeah. I don't know. Dodgers pitching when they're healthy is really good.
You can't give me when they're healthy, Tanner.
Yeah,
you can't give it to me when they're healthy because they're not. The Giants pitching staff's healthy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The best ability is availability. So
bullpen.
I think Giants would probably get both those.
Right.
So
fielding?
Yeah.
Fielding team? Who would you trust most with the glove? I mean, the Padres, I would say maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close.
The lineup with the Dodgers, but right now I've tallied it. Giants are leading in some categories here, at least if I'm looking at it objectively. But I'm saying availability is the best opportunity for the Giants to be the best pitching staff. That's where I'm sitting at it. And the Dodgers continue to send guys to the shelf here, which is continuing to probably frustrate a lot of Dodger fans out there.
They had this issue last year too. I feel. So it's going to be interesting how they bounce back from that.
It's a tight race, and it gets started. I think Dodgers-Padres tonight, so I'm curious to watch that tonight. I think that's where my eyes will land as I continue to watch Stanley Cup Finals. So, guys, good show as always. Appreciate it. Thanks again, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. So we'll be back at it 3:00. Until then, enjoy your night. A's baseball over at 790. Tune in then.
Summer is here in the Central Valley, and the action at Valley Athletics is where you want to be. It's Phil Benotti here to